Oh, hello there. We're getting ready for our Rocket Kids launch event. I hope everything's all right. I hope you can hear us. Hope everything's loud and clear, not too loud. Maybe I'll just turn that down a little bit. That sounds like it's a bit distorted. Does that sound a bit better? Oh my goodness. Such a rush. Got up this morning, just about to have my breakfast, haven't had any lunch. Oh, I did have lunch, I had a pot noodle. That's all we've got left. I've got to get these boxes put there. So very quickly, at 4 o'clock we're going to be launching the Rocket Kids Club. I am so excited. We're here at Cape Canaveral especially. Sorry mate, well those boxes are going to have to stay there because I'm launching the Rocket Kids. Yeah, I know you've got a rocket to launch, I've got a club to launch. So yeah, okay, give me a couple of hours, yeah, a couple of hours. Please, a couple of hours. Oh my goodness, what's he talking about, this bloke?
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start.
Whoa, hang on. Please, don't go firing any rockets yet. We're supposed to be doing the Rocket Kids Club. Stop the engines, please. Oh my goodness. That was close. We've got to get this Rocket Kid Club launched before the big boys get their wreck-it off. It's going crazy here, it's going crazy. We're live from Cape Collaboration. Let me move that box just a little bit. Live from Cape Collaboration, 4 till 6 today, British summertime. If you're in America, God knows what that is, goodness knows what that is, because I'm never very good at maths, I must admit. It's like 5-6 hours different, and it's not GMT, we're not on Greenwich Mean Time. We've got 5 minutes to go till we launch here in our community lock-in at Cape Canaveral. They've given us a bit of space here. They've got the rocket, it's going to be going off over there. Unbelievable what's going on. Of course, a bit quieter, let's get some quiet. We've had a great week. Monday we did the World Creativity Day here from Cape Canaveral. Tuesday is a bit quieter Tuesday. We ended up down in an amazing warehouse. You know all those boxes that you buy, all the stuff you buy? Well, we were down in an amazing warehouse where the robots all buzz around. We looked at robots and how to code robots, and so we'll be doing a bit more of that in the Rocket Kids Club. Wednesday, or was it Thursday? Thursday it was, yeah. Tuesday was World Creativity Day. Wednesday was World Box Day, which a granddad had as an idea. Granddad Pete, oh my goodness, unbelievable. And his daughter and their sons logged into that and they did some stuff together on our system in the community lock-in. It was brilliant. And then yesterday we were at the world's largest toilet roll factory. It was incredible. And it reminded me, as I said yesterday, of my granddad's factory, where they used to can baked beans and women used to pick out the little black beans, and now there's nobody around, it's robots doing it. So we've got to make sure we understand how all these robots work, and we're going to be looking at JD later on, seeing him. So that's all to come. Today I've got some really special guests coming. I'm really excited about this because today I've got my friend Malumba, Miss Dr. Spin, who lives very nearby actually. Dr. Spin's coming in to help us out, and he is going to be talking about the I Love Art project that he's got involved with and helped us out with. So Dr. Spin's going to be around about 4:05. Then we've got an amazing guy, an amazing lady actually, hopefully, that we're going to hear from Mamta Singh. I don't know if she's around or not, but she might be coming in. She's a toy engineer, chocolate scientist. She works in a food processing factory. Now, brilliant, amazing engineer. Action Jackson is coming on at 4:15. Now he is off the scale. Action Jackson is just incredible. Now while he's doing his stuff, I might have to do a few bits that I haven't finished off. So we're going to leave you with Action Jackson for 15 minutes because he is amazing. What's next? Well, after that, we're going to be going to Leeds to see this mum and her lad Rowan. This is Leanne and her lad Rowan. I sent them one of these special, it's not newspapers in this one. We got some boxes from our friends at the Newspaper Club. It's a special creativity kit. We're going to be opening that with them. We're going to have the opening live here on the Rocket Kid Clubs at launch. So that's going to be amazing. At that's 4:30. 4:45, I forgot to print this out. It's not very good, is it? Good job, I've got my thinking helmet on. At 4:45, we have got Jimmy Rotherham, amazing music teacher. He's going to be doing some music stuff. Now, Jimmy is one of my favourite people in the whole wide world. He's just incredible. He's a music teacher and he nearly won $1 million, that's like £700,000, for just being a teacher, for being the world's best teacher, music teacher. Unbelievable. We've then got Dennis coming in from Canada, and Dennis is the man who makes JD robots. And Dennis has given us a JD robot like the one he's holding there, and he's going to teach us how to use it over the next few weeks, and we're going to help you. And he's got some friends over here, a friend of mine Paul's going to do that as well, hopefully. But he is going to talk about why robots are so important. Then, oh my goodness, I'm hoping not too sure if it will happen, that we're going to have this amazing man, Professor Martin Rees. He's the Astronomer Royal, and we're going to hear from him. He is one of the cleverest people in the world, and I had to have a selfie with him. I had to have a selfie with him at the Royal Institution. Then, wouldn't be the Rocket Kids, would it, without a few rockets? There's a picture of a rocket. We are going to get one of my favourite people out, one of my favourite dads, and that's this man, Ed Finch. Ed Finch is one of my favourites. He's got a big old beard. He's a beardy, hipstery, sort of trendy type. He's a teacher. You know, all these teachers, they've got their beards and their leather arm pads. I don't think so, because I know lots of teachers and they're really cool people. And Ed is the coolest because he can play like 10 instruments at the same time. He's going to come on and play a song which was inspired by this picture, hopefully. I'm Still Standing. He's not singing I'm Still Standing now. He's going to do a song for the Rocket Kids Club. I wonder what that could be. So we're going to check that out later on. And then, oh my goodness, we have got one of the most amazing people in the world, Homer Hickam, who wrote this book, which my dad found in an Oxfam bookshop and gave it to me and said it's the best book he'd ever read. A book about 4 boys in America. It's just incredible. The book has sold millions of copies. The film is called October Sky, and they've made millions of dollars selling that, 40, 50, 60 million dollars, whatever it was the last count, all over the world. The book has sold millions of copies. And Homer, and I'll tell you what I like about this actually, it's called Rocket Boys. But if you jumble up the letters, look, it goes to October Sky. Bit of an anagram, bit of a woohoo. That's a cool one, isn't it? Because Homer does live in America in a little town called West Virginia, and he didn't want to be a coal miner. And one night he looked up in the sky and saw this, a little spot in the sky. And it wasn't one of Elon Musk's satellites, Jesse Corsten. I know you think it might be. Oh no, it was the Sputnik satellite, because this was 1957. Unbelievable, 1957. And Homer had an idea. He thought, I know, the Sputnik satellite. We're not going to let the Russians beat us to space. So they started making rockets, and he decided to try and help America enter space with his mates. And they learned to make rockets with his mum and his dad and the community helping. And they made rocket after rocket. Well, we won't tell you that story now, but that is a real picture of Homer Hickam. And Homer Hickam is going to be live on here at about 5:45, 5:45. Goodness knows where that 3 hour and 3/4 went. So we have got the most amazing show lined up for you. We're starting in 2 minutes. Don't get launching that rocket now, mate. Don't get launching that rocket now. Oh my goodness. They're letting the rocket off. Oh my goodness. There's smoke everywhere. The fire. Unbelievable. This is not any good, is it? Doing a hashtag Rocket Kids Club for all these kids to have a safe place to go and share and create with their creative carers. I'm going to share what Action Jackson hopefully would have done if he'd been on.
Everybody say dream big. Dream big. Act now. Act now. Never give up. Never give up.
Let's just do some book stuff, shall we? This is the book that everybody really needs to be reading at the moment. Good Ideas, how to be your and your child's best teacher. What does collaboration mean to you?
For me, collaboration is everything. I believe that
art is what we call it when what we do connects us. So your art could be painting, your art could be photography, your art could be dancing, the art of design, graphic design, DJing. I must admit, your art could be fashion, your art, as many children are when I say this, could be football. The kids put their your art could be baking or cooking. The big bake-offs one of the most connects. Your art could be coding, developing games. There are lots of jobs in the creative industries, and that is all about. Your art could be rockets. You could say my art's rockets, paper rockets like this, because your art could be rockets like this, Stevenson's rocket, and that's a BBC Microbit, a £12 computer. You can learn to code one of those without even having a Microbit, and we're going to show you how to do that, and we're going to teach you how to code JD. I have got on the line an amazing man called David Gilday. Are you with us?
So there are kind of 2 stages to solving this.
Go for it. No epic fails here.
Indeed. So this one is very similar to the robot you've seen before, but because it can see it reflected back from the cube, it can detect that.
This is a world exclusive.
This is the new one that I've been developing. I'm still working
with anything to do with wires or motors or anything that he can. The other day he wanted to make a crane, so we made a crane out of bits of wood and rope and stuff that we found in the garden and in his dad's shed. Ooh, I smell
wow.
it, I can do it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How much fun does this look like? How much fun does this look like? Well, here we are, the Rocket Kids Club launch. I hope you can all hear us loud and clear out there across the land. I was hoping to have another half an hour between doing that and doing this. And suddenly it's 4:05. We've got a whole load of speakers lined up. And I want to try and get some of those speakers on here now. Now, the first person I want to get on here is one of my favourite people, actually. One of my favourite people. Let me just press these buttons here. I can't remember what these buttons do almost now. Let me have a quick look. Let's see if I press that one. And on the screen is my friend Malumba. Dr. Spin, are you there, Dr. Spin? Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Dr. Spin? Where's he gone? Can you hear us, Dr. Spin? He's disappeared. This is not disappeared. Okay, you can't.
I can hear you now.
Okay, so turn your laptop down, have your phone on, or one or the other. And how are you doing? Can you hear me in real time, or is there a delay?
Are you talking to me? I can hear you.
Check this out.
Oh, it's coming in and out. This is very exciting. You've had me on my absolute toes the whole entire afternoon. I've never done anything remotely close to this.
Okay, Dr. Spin.
Oh, here you are.
Yeah, now you've got a delay. You're listening to me.
Hello.
Stop.
I've never done anything remotely close to this. Oh, here you are.
Yeah, now you've got a delay. You're listening to me.
Hello.
Stop.
I've never done anything.
You are listening on YouTube and you want to listen on your phone. I'm going to turn your audio off until you sort it out. Listen on your phone on Skype and watch on YouTube. So there we go. We just can't get the staff around here. Do you know what I mean? We just can't get the staff, but it's good because this is how we learn. Would you like to know what we've got here, everybody? Well, what we've got here, if I press that one, does that bring that up? It does. This is the desk I've got here. This is the craziest desk you've ever seen in your life. Not only has it got a cardboard rocket that we made the other day on World Box Day out of some cardboard boxes, or a castle we made on loo roll day out of a loo roll. It's got a vision mixer, and this mixer here is a box that lets us take 8 channels of video in. It's really amazing. 8 channels of video come in here, and I bet lots of people are going to copy this because this is the best video conference anybody's got in the whole wide world. And every one of those is a computer or a camera, and I can press buttons. So when I press that button, I appear over it. Can you see it? And then I press that and it goes away. Really, really cool. I could press that button and go back to that and press that and it comes back to that. So cool. What's even cooler, look, there's an iPad over there that lets me do all the same things on an iPad, but let me just flick back there. So I've got all these different controls here that I can control. You see that? But when I press here, I've now got volume controls and I can turn the sound up and down. This is so cool. I can't really believe it myself. And over there, we've got Malumba. Has he just gone? I hope he hasn't gone away. So you stay there, Malumba. Over there, we've got 3 laptops. I'm just playing for time while Malumba gets his audio sorted out. It doesn't matter because we're learning by doing. So Malumba's Skyped in on this computer and somebody else is going to Skype in on this computer. It looks like, oh gosh, Homer Hickam has just connected with us. That's good. So let's accept that and he'll know that he's in the right place. Action Jackson. Whoa, this is exciting. It looks like it works. And there's Leanne. Everybody's kind of coming in now. This is good. I hope we don't run out of time. We need to keep on time. Action Jackson's on in about 5 minutes. So what have we got? We've got over here, we've got the second Skype. So when you Skype in, you'll come in on one of these. If ever you come on our show, if you're lucky enough to come on the show live, you'll be Skyping in on one of these computers and I'll be able to see you and then mix you a bit like a DJ mixes music into the mix. And then over there at the very back is a computer connected to the internet. And as long as that keeps saying record on air, let me zone in and see if we can see that. You've got to see because that's what we're looking at there. Can you see where that says record on air? As long as it says on air, it means that you're seeing it. As soon as that light goes off, I know we're in trouble. Now, I'll be honest, we've had a bit of trouble with BT, well, not with BT, but with the wires, and sometimes our broadband goes down, which people get very cross in this house about when it goes down in the middle of a good Fortnite game, or a game of Clash, or Call of Duty, or any of those Minecraft games that some of the boys around this house seem to be playing sometimes. And that's not good. Now, I've got a really long cable. My neighbour had a similar problem, but she's had her internet fixed. So if we have a problem, we'll run next door with a cable, and she said we can do that. But anyway, that's academic minor detail. So let's zoom out again and see what else we've got here. Jesse, can you turn that light on the back? There's a little switch on the back. You have to stumble around. So, and over there, look, you'll see we've got a camera at the back of the room. That's the camera that's filming me. And you're just about to see my son's head, but he'll keep low on that. In fact, don't bother, I'll do it in a minute. It's probably easier if I do it, don't worry. And there, look how complicated that is. That is a television screen with lots and lots of pictures. And there's a box in front that when I press a button, smoke comes out of it. Way! And that's really for the disco more than anything. But hey, not to worry. We're having all sorts of fun and games in here today. So let's go back to Malumba now and see what he's up to over here. How you doing there, Malumba? Did you manage to get anything working?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly in real time.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you, absolutely.
But you seem to have lots
I can also see you.
You seem to have videos of me and videos of you, and I'm not really so sure what's going on there. You've got a picture of me on your
Yeah, I'm not
screen.
quite sure about this.
Or have I flipped it? Let's have a look. There's so many...
My camera is connected to my laptop.
Well, it doesn't matter. This is the first time...
My camera is connected to my laptop.
Which is connected to your knee bone, connected to your thigh bone. I don't really understand. Do you know what? Let's close this call and start again. Because it looks as if I was looking at him and he was looking at me. Let's have a look here. Oh, it's exciting. Homer Hickams just sent us another message as well. This is so exciting. Let's turn that off a second. That's a bit ear splitting, wasn't it? Let's see if we can get Malumba back on the line and get him on properly. Let's get rid of that because that doesn't look too good. I bet they're a bit more organised than this, getting rockets onto space, weren't they, Homer Hickam? We'll have to ask him that later on. So if you've got any questions for Homer Hickam, have a think and ask him any questions you've got. So Malumba, let's see, is that you up there now? It's not, is it? What's going on here? That should be better. Malumba, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Yes. Yeah, you say that as if you could all the time, like it wasn't your fault and it was mine. Or you didn't read the instructions.
No. It's all been completely my fault. I told you, you're teaching me quite a lot about technology.
It's all good. So tell us what you do, Dr. Spin. Are you Dr. Spin or Malumba today? And sit back a little bit. Don't worry about sitting too close to the screen. Let's have a bit of You got what's on your t-shirt? You got a nice t-shirt there. What does that say?
I'm Malumba Dr. Spin, and I've been sitting in my backyard all afternoon creating these wonderful spin arts.
Oh wow!
I've lost you.
No, we can see you. Don't worry, we can see you.
Which are going to be afterwards cut into heart shapes and turned into I love art for t-shirts.
Oh,
and I think we've got competition coming up later actually.
So
in regards to this.
So you downloaded this sheet off our website, the I Love Art sheet, and you've folded it in half like that, and you're going to draw heart or paint hearts and then do some selfies, are you? Fantastic.
Absolutely.
That's
for the
great.
sake of time, we've prepared in advance the art.
Okay.
Normally, it'd be very nice to do the spin art, and perhaps next time we'll be able to do the spin art right live on camera, especially once I become a bit more, knowledgeable of all this technology.
Okay, well, I'll be honest with you. I'm
an artist, not a technologist.
Dr. Spin, please don't throw such accusations at me. I'm not terribly knowledgeable or technical, but what I'm going to do now is I see that you've got a blue wall there. When did you have that wall painted blue? I love that blue wall of yours. That looks really nice.
Well, it's been very busy afternoon, Nick. You told me about this morning, and I had to be prepared.
Okay, well, I'm going to see if I can do something really cool, actually, because we're making this up as we go along, because that's the way life is sometimes, isn't it? And I've got a blue. Let's have a look here and see if we can. That should be. Let's say you're on. I'm looking at this. So you're on channel number 1, which is number 6. Yeah, you don't need to worry about it. I'm just thinking aloud because I find it when things are hard. If I think aloud, it makes it a little bit easier, and that should cut you out there. Why isn't that doing that? Let's have a look.
Hence why we have to recite the alphabet really loud when we learn
really
it.
Loud,
things like
yeah,
that.
well, learning by rote. It's interesting because you should be. Yes, you are. You are. I don't believe it. Dr. Spin, you are now at Cape Canaveral. Look, you are there. You are at Cape Canaveral.
Dream come true.
Unbelievable. Let's just go to Cape Canaveral. Because they're just about to launch a rocket, I think. Hold on a sec.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10.
I don't know which screen to be staring at.
Ignition sequence
Oh.
start.
This is a very exciting
Oh my
moment.
goodness! Now we've stopped the rocket again. Let's stop that rocket again and let's go back to Malumba. So there you are, Malumba. You are on screen at Cape Canaveral because you had a blue wall. Isn't that cool?
This is incredible. Dreams do come true.
So what we can do here in the Rocket Kids Club HQ, also known as the Community Lock-in, we can put you in any background. So if we wanted to, we could take you down to, let me have a look here, we could take you to a toilet roll factory. Look, now you're now at a toilet roll factory. How does that feel?
Do you
Can you see that? Have you got
do
YouTube
you
running?
know my obsession with? I can only see my forehead.
Well, that's because
And,
that's because you're not watching it on YouTube. You didn't read the email, did you?
This is a dream come true. I can completely see it now. I'm looking at my phone, and suddenly I'm in a toilet factory.
Well,
and if only you knew what an obsession I have with toilets.
Let's not go there at the moment, please. Let's just keep the family, keep it
You'd be
clean.
so grateful for having this dream come true.
And now you're actually at an amazing, you know that firm that sends you all the stuff when you click a button, the amazing company that some people don't think pay quite enough tax. Maybe that's what they could do to help with the coronavirus. Anyway, let's not go there. The amazing warehouse with lots of boxes and lots of robots buzzing them around. And you are there, Dr. Spin. So that is how fantastic this is. I'm going to press that button and go back to as we were. Can I leave you now because I've got Action Jackson waiting?
Are there no human beings working there?
There aren't many human beings.
Are there no human beings
working
working in that factory?
I think a human being comes in and presses a button and starts the place for the day, and that's about it. So we need to make sure we make jobs for our children programming robots, and they can do all the dirty, dangerous, boring jobs. What we want our kids to do is to do the jobs that are creative, the jobs that are rewarding, the jobs that care for other people, the jobs that connect us. So do you mind if I leave you to it? Can I leave you to make some more of those I Love Art templates, Dr. Spin?
Absolutely. I'll be watching you.
Because I am going to be going live and direct now to one of the most amazing people I know in the whole wide world, and that is Action Jackson, and I'm going to try and get him up on my screen now. He is one of the most inspiring people, and if you're a parent out there, you will know that you need to be inspiring, you need to be connecting your young people, and Dr. Jackson, Action Jackson, for me, is one of the most inspiring people I've ever met in my life. Did he accept that call? Let's have a look. It looks like he might have. Oh, yep, this is something. Yes, here he is. He's in his car. Hello, Action Jackson.
How's it going? You doing all right?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Let me just press this button here. I got so excited to see you, I didn't press the button. There you go. Look. Man, I've got to get something straight, actually, here. Can I call you Action or Jackson or Doctor? Which do you prefer? Because I want to get it right.
Action Jackson is good.
Action Jack. Well, so it's got to be both. I think. Of course, a mouthful. You're a mouth gobbler. You are, aren't you? What you like? and what are you doing in your car? Is that a quiet, safe place? Is it?
Well, quite safe place. I've got my nephews and my cousin. I brought them out for their 1 hour of workout today. So, I think it was only right for me. I think I don't want to let you down today, so we got to make it happen.
There's no peace when you're in the house, is there?
No way.
Peace. So tell us, Doctor, I mean, what did you, I mean, we're losing the top of your head there, Dr. Jackson.
Oh, we don't want to lose the head.
Don't want to lose the top of your head. We want to get that bit right. That's looking good. I'm loving that. That's looking good. So doctors, I mean, we tend to think of the NHS who are doing an incredible job at the moment. What sort of doctor are you? Are you going to be able to help me if I slip and hurt my leg? Is that kind of the doctor you are? Or?
Well, I'll be able to help you with your mindset. I got an honorary doctorate for my contribution to youth work over the last 20 years.
That is amazing. We're sort of working in the community with young people. What sort of age are you talking about here, Doctor?
I'm talking right from primary school age right through to university age. We do a lot of work in schools around mindset, growth mindset.
Well, hang on. Whoa. Let's just stop you right there. Mindset. What does mindset mean? These are big buzzwords. You know the answers, but I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest.
Yeah, well, mindset is just literally how your mind is set. It's like a television station. If you've got channel 1 is bad and channel 2 is positive, if your mind is stuck on channel 1, which is negative, that means your mind is set on a negative path. But if your mind is on channel 2, then that means your mind is on positive. So we're trying to get people from negative mind to positive mind, because when you think positively, you feel positively, you do positively, so that you can actually be happy.
Oh, I understand. I get you. And so it's really almost, if you think something's going to happen, it will happen. If you think bad things are going to happen, there's a good chance they might happen, even if it's just you think they've happened, but they might not have been bad. So it's about how you think, really. Is that what you're talking about?
Everything is about how you think. Your mind creates your world.
Well, we've got very young people listening today, a lot of primary children in sort of year 1 up to year 6 probably, and we've got their mums and dads, what we call their creative carers, listening with them. They're people.
Wow, I love that.
Do you know what I mean? They're people who care about creativity because they know that art and creativity is important. They care about their kids and they care about our future. So do me a favour and put 2 hats on. First of all, tell a little message to the young people, the children that are listening. What would you say to them when they're in lockdown and it's difficult and a bit boring? What would you say to them, Doctor?
I would say actually get creative. Get creative. The best thing you can do is get creative. You can write stories about the lockdown. You can write movies about the lockdown. You can try to start solving problems around the house through the lockdown. Lockdown is an opportunity. If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So you can write stories.
Like that.
That's one thing. You can start doing fitness. That's another thing. You can start doing dances. TikTok is filled with dances that you can do because that's helping with your creativity. But most importantly, reading is very, very good because you're able to feed your mind with creative ideas.
Fantastic. So what would you say to their mums and dads then about their children?
I would say there's a whole bunch of things that your children are now experiencing that you might not necessarily understand, but they're in a different world and a different era. Okay, the key thing is this: embrace who they are, allow them to flow. And what I want you to do is to just pay attention to their creativity, because the more you pay attention to their creativity, the more you get to learn about them. So please don't criticize what's coming out of them. Celebrate what's coming out of them, because what tends to happen is adults tend to kill young people's creativity without knowing it. You know, a child might say, look, mommy, look at what I drew. And the mom says, oh, just go and sit down. In that moment, you've just killed an artist. You know, oh, mom, listen to my song. In that moment, you might have just killed a singer. So you have to be very careful. I'm a big fan of creativity.
That's fantastic. And you were very, very generous to us. Gosh, 4 or 5 years ago now, you came and sang and spoke at an event that Barclays generously hosted on the top floor of the Barclays Tower. And I remember you saying, stop looking out the windows, we've done the tourist stuff, we need to be coming together. And I mean, you had some very powerful messages there. And you quoted a song that I then heard again at my son's secondary school when a young man who had come out actually very bravely at school sang that very same song. And I found that very moving. Could you remind us of the opening words of that song that you sang that night?
So is that
the Whitney one? The Whitney one, I believe.
Okay. Well, so the opening quote says, I believe the children are our future. Teach them well, help them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be.
Wow, you are the man. And how would you finish that? I mean, because you're amazing. Your doctorate for me is, I've called this hashtag of aspiration, inspiration, whatever. You would quote something like that, but then bring it down to earth and connect us in the heart with that, Doctor. So what might you say, having quoted that to a room full of secondary students? What would you now say to them?
I just really believe that a room full of secondary students, that you are the future. You may not see it now, but everything you put inside of you will affect the kind of future you're going to have. You know, this line says, I believe the children are our future. We're living in the future right now, okay? And the people who are running the world, they were once teenagers. Now, 10 years from now, we're going to look back and laugh over the craziness that the coronavirus has brought. And you guys are going to be in government. You guys are going to be the fashion designers. You guys are going to be the politicians and the authors. You guys are going to be the ones that are going to be deciding where the world is going to head. I hope that you are in position. Now, if you put yourself in the right position of belief, you'll be able to achieve. You got to dream big. You got to dream big. That's what you got to do. You got to act now. You must never give up because you are amazing.
Man, that is just so special. I mean, you are the man for that. I mean, there's a lot of talk about motivational coaches, and a lot of people kind of take that claim. But you've just got the vibes. You've got the, I don't want to patronise you by saying you've got the lines, because when you say that somebody's got lines, it sounds like there's no sincerity there. I don't know anybody more sincere than you, to be quite honest. You haven't got your guitar in the car by any chance, have you?
Oh, you know how let's come equipped, mate.
Let's have some. Come on, that's Dr. Jackson. I don't know what you're going to play, but I know we're going to know it with the first strum of the chord. We've got about 6 minutes left for your slot. Can you hack one out for us, do you think?
We'll make it happen.
Amazing.
To everyone that's watching right now, I really believe that there's 4 things we need to teach our young people. And the number one is to dream big. Number 2 is to act now, to never give up because they are amazing. I dreamed big, but I was too scared to go for my dreams because I didn't think I was good enough. How I wish someone was there to guide me. How I wish someone was there to tell me that, yes, those dreams can happen. I've always wanted to have my own television talk show. And now I've set my sights on being the number 1 performer on the earth. Why? Performance is so powerful because performance pulls the mind in, pulls the heart in. So once you got the heart and the mind, you've got them. So the song goes, dream big, act now, never give up, you're amazing. Very easy. And I'm sure at some point in time, you're going to sing along after watching this. Listen. Dream big, act now, never give up, you're amazing. Dream big, act now, never give up, you're amazing. Everybody sing. Dream big, act now, never give up, you're amazing. Dream big, act now, never give up, you're amazing. Dream big, act now, never give up, you're amazing. On a lockdown, dream big. On a knockdown, act now. On a knockdown, don't give up. On a lockdown, you're amazing. On a lockdown, dream big. On a lockdown, act now. On a lockdown, never give up. On a lockdown, you're amazing. Dream big, act now. Never give up, you're amazing.
Oh my goodness, you're the man you are. You really are. That was wonderful. And it just out of interest, I mean, is that just spontaneous? The vibes there, the last, the rappy little bit, or have you done that 1,000 times this last week in concert halls across the world? Or
here's the interesting thing about STEAM and creativity. Okay, that day I just wrote it on the spot. You know, when our children tap into their creativity, they can create off the fly. So you can give me any words. We can actually have some fun right now, right? Give me some words and we can create. I know I've got 3 minutes left. Give me some words and I'll write a song for you on the spot. Just to show parents at home the importance of allowing our kids to be creative.
Okay.
Creativity runs the world.
Okay, let's do this. It's not every day a world famous inspirator, motivator, artist gives me a chance. Let me throw some words. The words for me are art, connection and community. How about that? Those 3 words. Art, connection, community, and together. Let's have those in there.
Okay. All right. Cool. Oh, yeah. All right. Listen, I open my heart. You gotta do heart, connection, community. That's of my heart. Connection, community makes us immune to the negativity. When you do art, when we connect as a community. Connect to us, collaboration, community, art, communicates all day, community, negativity.
You are the man, you're the man, you really are.
Thank you so much, you are the man, thank you so much.
Man.
Just want to say, you know what you've been doing, I'll keep doing it because I do believe that our kids need more of this. You know, science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. They need it. They need to keep pushing. Creativity is what makes the world go around. So thank you for flying that flag and don't give up, no matter what the world tells you. Or
I'll tell you what I'm going to say to you. It sounds like the helicopters are coming in, and we've got a police assault by the sound of it. The choppers are above. What I'm going to say to you, for me, Action Jackson, Dr. Jackson, this is not about acronyms. It's not STEM. It's not STEAM. It's about the C word. It's about creativity. Because we say that art, and I've got my t-shirt, art is what we call it when what we do connects us to somebody else. And if we can help our kids dream, aim high, if we can get them to find their passion, find their art. And if we think of art as the combination of creativity and tools or technology and people, that guitar is your tool, some code is somebody else's tool. Red paint on a caveman's hand was their technology because it was invented after they were born. That's all technology is. If we can unleash the power of art, creativity, technology and people in this country, we're going to do amazing things. And we haven't seen each other for a year or so, but we've been in touch. We tweet each other, retweet. Let's keep that vibe alive.
That's it.
And the irony is that we're grounded, but we've re-established that connection, and that's testament to this moment, I think, in time. And
I'm loving that.
And I want to tell you something, actually, that I met the Culture Minister last year. I was very, very proud to be invited to Coventry, and I met the then Jeremy Young, the Culture Minister. And this isn't about politics, this is about policy. So if somebody says something I don't agree with, I'll call them out. Whatever their politics, I'm not in a political party, and we don't subscribe to a party. But if somebody stands up and says, we want to run a festival, who's in? My hand's up, if it sounds like a good festival, and I'm sure yours would be. If somebody said to you, Dr. Jackson, there's a festival and we want to bring together the power of art, creativity and people, who's in? I know you and I would be fist bumping in the back row and say, we need to speak to this guy. Do you know what I mean? That was what the culture...
That's a must.
And that's what the Culture Secretary said to me last year. He said to a room full of people in Coventry, and we went away and we launched the hashtag ArtConnects19 Festival. We did a launch event in Parliament, we did events all across the country. And at the end of that year, Niall Rogers did a video link for us, couldn't believe it, from New York. We were in Toxteth. And he said, it's all about collaboration. My life is a collaboration. I'm a writer, I'm a musician, but my music is nothing without the orchestra. Now, you're a talented guy. You can play guitar and sing, although I think Niall Rogers... Actually, isn't it, you ever seen Niall Rogers sing? Does Niall Rogers sing? I don't think he does he? Niall Rogers doesn't sing. Anyway, so you're even cleverer than Niall Rogers. That's not bad. And anyway, so this year, inspired by him and Richard Gerver, and funny enough, something Stormzy and Boris Johnson could have said, we made this year hashtag Collaborate20. So it's all about collaboration, and we're collaborating for Britain in this studio now. Next year's Inspire Nation, but the point is, in 2022, the government had 120 million for a national festival of creativity. And in the general scheme of things, that's not a lot of money. But you and I, if we were given a little bit of money, we could do a lot across the country, I'm sure. So should we come back on that one in the next few weeks? Maybe see what the Department of Culture want to do, and if they'll talk to us? What do you reckon?
I'm definitely anything to spread some happiness. We'll make it happen.
Let's do some fist bumps here, man. Right in the middle of that screen. I'm not going to smack you in the face. Boom, right at you. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Jackson. Action Jackson, everybody. He is the man. And love you. Take care. Look after your family. Stay safe, yeah? Look after those nephews.
Will do.
They need you.
Take
They're
care.
so lucky to have you. Take care, man.
All right. Bye.
There we go. Action Jackson in the house. Unbelievable. I've just had a piece of paper passed to me, so I now know what is going on. And I'm hoping, actually, that we are going to have somebody. Do I want to schedule my next call for Action Jackson? The system says to me. That's a funny old one, isn't it? That's Leanne. Yep, let's get Leanne up here. So Leanne is a mum in Leeds on the Parklands estate, the Seacroft estate, and they go to Parklands Primary School. And let's see if we can get her on the show now. And we've got this toilet roll graphic running. I mean, that's running for Britain, that is, because I didn't really have time to change anything else. Should really go back to Cape Canaveral, shouldn't we? That's where we want to be. Where are we? Leanne, are you there? Leanne, I'm calling you now. Here we go. I should have pressed the button. I didn't press the button. That sounds like the phone's ringing quite nicely. And this is Leanne coming in, hopefully. Oh, it's hot here in Miami today. Oh, Cape Canaveral's not a cool place, that's for sure. And there we are. They're in the house. Check you out. And they've got two, looks like they've got two screens, so let's go to the audio. Hello, is that Leeds? Have we got Leeds on the line?
Hello.
Hello, boys. How are you today?
Good.
Hang on, I've got to press the right buttons here. I haven't got the right buttons pressed, have I? Is that better? Can you see yourselves now? Have you got YouTube on there, have you?
Yeah, we've got YouTube on.
And do you know what? It takes 8 seconds for YouTube to get all the way from me in London or Cape Canaveral all the way to Leeds. 8 seconds. Now you're going to see me in a minute, and you're going to see yourselves in a minute.
You ready, Bide? Are you watching on the laptop? Yeah.
Tell me, put your hands up. Say yeah when you can see yourselves.
Yeah, when we can see yourself. You ready? You got to wave. Oh, it's going a bit slower.
Is it coming?
Let's have a look. There we are. Say hi, everybody.
That took a long time, didn't it? Are you on YouTube there or Twitter?
Dad's trying to work the laptop today, so we don't know what's going on.
Don't worry, but just out of interest, are you on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube there, do you know, with the other one?
YouTube.
Oh, okay, so YouTube's the quickest, blimey. We had a sneaky word from Dad in the background there, did we? He's behind the scenes, is he, doing all the button pressing? Good old Dad. We were going to call...
Dad's electrical in our house.
Is he? We were going to call it the Art of Mums this session, but we'll have it the art of Mums and a little bit of Dad's. Now,
Yeah, a little bit.
who have we got in the room then? Who are these boys we've got kicking around here?
This is, well, we know this one. Say your name to everybody.
Rowan.
Come on, Rowan. Oh, you're Rowan, yeah, okay.
And this is Samuel, Rowan's younger brother.
Oh, lovely. So how old are you, Samuel?
How old are you? 4.
4. And do you go to Parklands Primary yet?
He will be in September.
Oh, he's going to be in Mrs. Dyson, I think, looks after early years up there, doesn't she?
She's the other year 1 class. So
Oh, she's
Miss
year
Dyson
one,
at the
is
moment
she?
is 1D. Rowan's in 1S, so he's teacher. Who's your teacher?
Miss Sunderland.
Miss Sunderland.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. And what-
It's Miss Egan. If we can kind of swindle it a little bit, because that's who taught Rowan last year.
Is that right, is it? Okay. And what's your favourite subjects at schools, boys? What do you like the most at school, Rowan?
What do you like the most to do?
Maths.
You like maths.
Oh, I
yeah.
know. Do you do times table rock stars up there?
Yes, they do.
Oh my goodness, I've seen how clever those boys and girls are at Parklands Prime with their timetable rock stars. They are so clever, aren't they? They really are good. And Mr. Dyson, you know, have you seen Mr. Dyson? We haven't seen him lately, I don't suppose, have you? Because you were poorly for a bit as well, weren't you?
Yeah, he's seen him, obviously, things that he's done on Twitter that I've managed to show him. And I actually nipped up to Parkland today to get some more reading books for Rowan, so I had a quick chat with Mr. Dyson.
Oh, did you? They're very good up there with their books, aren't they? They've got a super library. There's a lovely lady there, and her nickname on Twitter, I shouldn't say this probably out of school, her nickname on Twitter is Lovely Beth.
Oh, yeah, I spoke to Beth today.
Did
She
you?
was on the reception.
They call her Lovely Beth for no good reason, because she is lovely and she's very passionate about literacy. Do you know what? I'll tell you something about Beth, actually. The only time I ever really see her is when she goes to conferences. On Saturdays, she goes all over the country to conferences to not just learn more, but to share what she knows, which I think is wonderful when teachers do that, don't you?
It is, that's really good.
And I don't know what you think, but the teachers, they've been moaning a bit about teachers having long holidays and all this sort of stuff the last few weeks. I think it's a bit rotten. I don't think it's too fair, really, because what do you think about teaching and the work they do? Do you value them as people and the job?
Oh, yeah, definitely, they're amazing. I mean, the work that they do with Rowan. Rowan has speech therapy and all in school, so he sees Mrs. Taylor. And it's absolutely amazing the way that they help him, because Rowan had a stammer while he was in reception.
Oh,
and that's never completely gone now. So
well, they're wonderful. And the thing I've always noticed with teachers, when my boys were very young at school, you go along, you think, oh, they're young, what do they know? And in fact, they say, well, look how his handwriting's changed in 6 months. And and I call it the art of teaching. Do you know what I mean? Because it's those subtle things that you and I just take for granted. You think, well, whatever, you know, and they're telling me off because they haven't done their homework or whatever. But they're very, you know, it's a very, very clever, and they have to go to university to do it. Anyway, I could bore you senseless about what I think about teaching. Did you, Rowan, and what was your other lad's name? Sorry, Rowan and
Samuel.
Samuel. Rowan and Samuel. I'm going to write that down because I'm a bit rubbish with names. Rowan and Samuel. So did you get anything in the post today, boys?
What did we get in the post today? Oh, let's lift this massive box up.
Whoa! That came in the post because do you know what? I rushed yesterday to get that to the post office, and I got there at 5:15, and the post goes at 4:45. So do you think I missed the postman?
Oh no! The postman brought it this morning. Well, I was at work.
And it was one day that the postman was late. And I did, and he took it, and the postman brought it all the way to these. And I've got lots of these. I've actually made up quite a lot of these parcels. I've got quite a lot of these parcels. I've been told to read my comments. Can you tell me what they're saying, Jessie? I can't read my comments at the moment. So I've got lots of these parcels, and what we're going to do, I'm going to open one with you, I think, actually. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? Let's have a look at this. Let's find one I can open with you. And let's open it so that everybody can see here. So basically, your mum, I thought was just incredible. Your mum did something amazing the other day. You asked her to make you a crane, or you wanted to make a crane, didn't you, Rowan?
Yeah.
And how did you make your crane? Can you remember?
How did we do it?
These beautiful strings and wood and drills.
And we did, didn't we? And we found some string in the garden and we put it up over the top.
Yeah.
And then what did you connect it to?
A hook.
A hook. And Dad's electric drill, and we put it inside, didn't we, and tightened it. And then when we pressed the button, what did the hook do?
It just goes up and down and the wall.
It did, didn't it? Turned, and then the rope went up and down, didn't it, with your basket on the end?
I'm trying to find it on Twitter. If I had my act together, I'd have had it already. But the day has just flown by. Let me see if I can find this for you now. Because this was just wonderful. So if I search Twitter for your account and crane, I reckon that will find it, don't you? Yes, it has. Let's pull this up, young boys. Let's go to number 6. And why hasn't that worked? Because I've got to press that button and get rid of you. And is that a picture of you and your crane by any chance? It's going to take a few seconds to get through. I can see somebody standing there by a crane with lots of bits.
That was before we turned it into electric. So this was the day before, and then he had an idea to make it an electric drill, and that is when he connected the pipe, the steel rod into the drill, so that the wire went up and down with the basket on the end.
You never guess what? I've only got Mr. Dyson on my phone. Mr. Dyson has Skyped me on my mobile phone, and I can't see him, and he doesn't realise I've got my headphones on, so I can't even hear him either. Mr. Dyson, have you not got video on here, Mr. Dyson? It's, have I got to press the video button? Let's have a look. It might be my fault. You trust him to do it differently. He's trying to break the internet and Skype today. So, is this going to work? So I've only got your head teacher on the light. Oh, it is. Look, it's going to work. Is it going to work? Let's turn the camera on. Has he got his camera turned on? This is remarkable. This is technology. Yeah. Oh, there he is. It's Mr. Dyson. How can I show you this? There's Mr. Can you see Mr. Dyson on there, boys?
We're just waiting for it to come up.
It's going to take a few seconds to get through. The only problem is.
Say hi.
Let me hold it.
Can you
I'll hold him.
Dyson?
Go on. Speak to us, Mr. Dyson.
Let's move this box out of the way so we can see. Oh, there he is.
We can hear you, Mr. Dyson. Speak up.
Welcome to Coaster, all at Steam Cove for on this fantastic Fun Day Friday extravaganza.
I forgot it was Fun Day Friday, Mr. Dyson. Who have you got there? Daisy, are you at the... Look at that, he's at the school as well.
I'm not, I'm in my garden.
Are you in your garden, are you?
Yeah, I've just shaved my son's head.
Oh, you can come and do mine, Mr. Dyson. So, Mr. Dyson, we've got Leanne and Rowan and Samuel on the Seacroft estate.
Yay!
And they've just had a big parcel delivered, and we're just about to open it now, so we might have to hang up on you. But it's lovely to see you. What do you think of what's going on at the moment in your community and how they're all coming together?
Oh, the community's coming together wonderfully. Leanne will tell you about it. We've just managed to get rid of 1,000 bags of oven chips today, 500 burgers, 2,000 packs of Benshaw pop, 2,000 bags of popcorn, and that's on top of everything else that we've given out this week. So, yeah, food is coming in. We're not going down that stupid, ridiculous voucher system that has been the biggest disaster since the Titanic. You know, and we're putting food straight to bellies with people like Magic Breakfast, the Real Junk Food Project, you know, and the community. Absolutely brilliant. They're loving us for it.
Well, Mr. Dyson, if you were here now and we'd sort of got our act together, I'd have had a big sign up that said hashtag art of leadership, art of community, art of empathy, art of love. You do amazing work, and I can't thank you enough for what, it doesn't mean much to me, but the support you've given us at Steam Care, I can't thank you enough. We'll get you on properly. I'd like to get you on with Drew Povey one day. Would you be up for that? Talk about the art of leadership?
My best little brother, Drew Povey. Love him to bits, so that's a yes.
Just tell me I'm your big brother, that's all right.
You're younger than me.
I'm going to let you crack on, Mr. Dyson, before you reveal any more of my secrets.
Cheers for the invite.
I'll see you at Brewhead tomorrow. See you at Brewhead in isolation tomorrow. Take care. Wow. How amazing was that? How amazing was that?
I am holding.
That was your head teacher. So there we go. There's your crane. Should we go back to opening our box? We've seen your crane. Everybody go to the website. Go to Twitter and pull up their crane, because it really is quite incredible. So we're going to open this box, are we? Let's see what's inside here. I'm going to open mine as well because I've got one here. Let's have a look.
Can you pull that?
Let's go to that camera there and take me off. That's the wrong one, isn't it? Why hasn't that worked? That's the one we want. No, that one, that one. Oh, I can't get my act together today. Let's just do it manually. Let's go to that one. There we are, and get rid of me. So this is the box that I've got there, and you've got one there. Let's get you up in that corner over there. So this is what we call a creativity survival kit, a Steamco creativity survival kit. Everything you need in there to keep you inspired, to keep your children engaged. And I'll be honest with you, you guys are just amazing anyway. You don't need much of this because you'll find stuff. But you've got some instructions, you've got some stickers, you've got some lovely coloured paper. You've got some Steamco stickers there. You've got some instructions for making rockets. You've got a t-shirt each. You're going to put those t-shirts on for me in a minute, boys. You've got a Steamco newspaper, and then you've got everything you need to make a rocket. So you can make a rocket this afternoon with that. We're going to teach you how to do that later on when Homer Hickam comes on. And then if you lift that out, underneath you have got a copy of the Rocket Kids book, which we wrote with Mr. Dyson and Macaulay there from Parklands. You've got a Rubik's Cube. I don't know if you know how to do Rubik's Cubes, but you've got one of those. And we are going to teach you not only to do a Rubik's Cube, but how to program and to get robots to do a Rubik's Cube.
Wow.
We've got a little computer here, which is called a BBC Microbit. That is a BBC Microbit that you can all code. And we're going to teach you how to code that. And I'm going to do that in a minute, actually. I'm going to hopefully show you how to do that in a few minutes. And in here, we've got a little orange box, and that's an Edison robot, which is one of these. Or you've got some coloured crayons there.
Wow.
And you've got a little robot here that you can code using programming languages or simple things, or you can even just get it to stripe across this barcode and that will code it. And we've got 20 of these that we're selling in our Steamco shop, but we're going to give some more of these away as prizes. And I'm going to teach you how to do the coding. What do you think of that?
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Yes.
Would you like that? I've got a robot in my box here. Oh. This is a robot. This is a robot that can do a Rubik's Cube, but it got broken. So I'm going to have to mend that, and we'll get that going. And I know a man, David Gilday. He was on here the other day, and he showed us some amazing robots. So that is what we're all about here today. What do you think of that then?
That is amazing, isn't it?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Now what we're going to do, we're going to start next week, we're going to start a Rocket Kids Club website that only you can go in.
Right.
And we want it to be very, very safe. So we're going to check it. And what we need is we want 100 boys and girls like you to log on to the website and sign up now and say, I want to try the new Rocket Kids website. And when you try it, we can test it. We're going to ask you to design a logo for it. We're going to ask you to help test it. We've got Grandad Pete in Liverpool. He's going to help us. We've got Laura and the boys over there. We've got Martha. I've got my neighbours. I met some neighbours today, and we're all going to get involved and help. And we're going to show you how to do some coding. We're going to teach you how to code this BBC Microbit. I'm going to do this on the show tonight very quickly if I get time. I'm running a little bit late now because I've got to go to somebody else in just a moment. And we are going to have lots of fun, and we're going to learn together. Who'd like to do some learning this lock-in? Hands up if you want to do some learning and coding and robots.
Hand up if you want to do robots.
Hand up if you want to do robots. Me. Fantastic. Because we've got to not just aim high, we've got to go higher than high. And that's what the Rocket Kids Club's all about.
I want to.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, Laura, Leanne, I'm going to leave you now because I've got to go to Jimmy Rotherham's in Bradford. Jimmy Rotherham sounds like he's in Bradford. So if you could stay on the line and watch him, would you mind?
No, you were watching, yes.
I'm just going to put you on mute. So don't worry if you say anything, it won't come out. And I'm going to make you just a little bit smaller up there. I'm doing the wrong thing there. There we go. Let's put you over there, put you up in that corner. And let's see if we, in fact, I should be able to do this. Oh, no, that's no good. Why didn't that work? Okay, let's see if we can find Jimmy. Well, Jimmy Rotherham's here. Jimmy Rotherham wants to accept a call. Let's not block Jimmy Rotherham. Here we go. We are dialing live and direct to Jimmy Rotherham in Bradford. This is so exciting. I'm getting my knickers in a bit of a twist, pressing buttons and bits and pieces here. Here he is. Here he is. Let me get Jimmy live on the screen. Which button do I think I need to do to press that? I think I need to press that. There's Jimmy Rotherham. And there is everybody there in Leeds. And I'm going to speak to Jimmy. Can you hear me, Jimmy?
Hi, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you absolutely perfectly. Thank you so much for checking out today. Are you in Bradford today, Jimmy, or Leeds?
I'm in Leeds.
Oh, you live in Leeds, don't you?
Audion, yes.
And you teach in Bradford, don't you? And we came to your school.
I teach in Bradford, yeah.
I will never forget the day we came to your school and we were just coming in and it just turned out you'd just been shortlisted that day. I heard it on the radio for Global Teacher Prize to win $1 million, and we rented a massive screen and the whole community came out and we sang, we made rockets, we let rockets off. Amazing day. How's your journey been since then, Jimmy? What have you been up to since that? Because you didn't win, so you didn't get the $1 million, which is why you're still in Leeds probably, but...
Yeah, I'm not in Barbados, but no, it's brilliant. It's given me a lot of opportunities to influence the government, to influence teachers, to enable and empower other teachers to be able to do some of the things that I do, because it's not rocket science. A lot of it is just engaging and playing with children in musical ways. So.
Fantastic. And you're still, obviously you're still teaching, and you've been working with the Department of Education and so giving some advice to that as well, I believe.
Yes, I have, on the model music curriculum, so hopefully they listened. We'll see.
Well, I tell you what, Jimmy, what I am seeing is that art and creativity have come into their own in this lock-in, haven't they? A lot of people are connecting through art and creativity now, and I really doubt very much that the government are going to ignore that. And I think we're all in this together, really, aren't we? And you know, obviously the Oak Academy launched last week, and there was art and creativity in there. That was a good first effort, and a good work, really good work being done there. A big announcement today from the Department of Education that they're going to be literally giving technology to socially challenged communities and individuals who need that. What have you been up to in the lock-in, Jimmy?
I've been busier than when I was teaching normally. I've been doing a lot of things, doing a lot of curriculum writing, a lot of lesson planning, a lot of videos, a lot of broadcasts, a lot of meetings with teachers from across the world. So yeah, I've been very busy.
And you've been doing you had a bit of a viral project on the go, I seem to remember. What was that all about?
Is this the percussion you want to talk about?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, go wherever you want to go.
Well, I'd love to do a bit of percussion with everyone who's tuned in, if that's okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jimmy.
You're my guinea pig, so I'm going to ask the audience to join in with the bits that you join in with, okay?
Okay, because I was going to go and do some. I've got some rockets to build. You do need me, do you? That's fine if you do. Don't worry. That's fine.
I do need you.
As long as I haven't got to sing in public.
Broken my bin. Alrighty, so first thing we're going to do is just say the words boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats.
Boots, cats, boots, cats. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, and hope everyone at home can try that as well. Boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats.
Okay, everybody up there in Leeds, boots, cats. Come on, let's have you all doing it as well.
Boots, cat, boots, cat, boots, cat.
That's it, Dad. We're on fire here.
Okay. Next step, you are going to whisper that. You're not actually going to say it this time. You're going to just do it all with your lips. So you're going to go boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats,
boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, boots.
It's good, but don't whisper. Do not whisper. Just sorry, do not speak. Just whisper. Kind of boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats,
boots, cats,
cats, cats, cats.
Oh, they sound like they're doing it brilliantly over there. Well done, well done, Leeds people. Brilliant. And we're going to try that with our bodies now. So we're going to just do get a nice cupped hand like that, and if you hit that on your chest, you get quite a good bass drum sound. You get a. Do you want to try that, Nick, and the people in Leeds?
I'm getting a thud. I'm banging my hand against my chest, am I? Like that?
Yeah, that thud is absolutely perfect.
Oh, that's the bass drum, is it? Boom.
Yeah, that's the bass drum.
Okay. This is like beatboxing.
It is like beatboxing. And then I hope everyone can click the fingers because we're going to do a click.
How many hands do we use?
Click like that. Brilliant. Can everyone do the click? I can't see the people in Leeds, unfortunately.
Have you not got YouTube up? You need to pull YouTube up if you do that. Have you got another
lag on it though?
Oh, there will be a lag. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But they're doing it. They're doing it.
Here, but Nick, you have to let me know if they can click the fingers.
They are. Yeah, they're clicking the fingers. They're doing a great job.
Brilliant.
They're doing a great job.
We're dealing with professionals. That's brilliant. Okay. So next we're gonna go chest, click, clap, click. Chest, click, clap, click.
Got ya. Chest, clip, clap, click. Okay, cool.
Brilliant. Okay. And now try and do it on a loop without saying it. So just watch me first. I'm going to go. Yeah. Oh, that's great, guys. Yeah, with the delay, it even somehow worked. Wow, superb. Good job. Okay. Next, we're gonna. If everyone can do that quite easily, was it doing a good job there, Nick?
Oh my goodness, is it getting harder now? Is it? I need to have a drink. Where's my
It's going to
drink?
get harder, yeah. It's going to get harder and harder. Next, we're going to do like a bubum on our chest. So we're going to go.
So.
Try that, guys.
So it's boom boom click, boom boom click.
No, bubum, click, clap, click.
Oh, okay.
Click, clap,
Boom boom
click.
click, clap, click.
It's sounding good. Is it looking good, Nick?
It's looking brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Rowan's doing really well, aren't you, Rowan?
So we were doing a double click on beat 1 on the chest. This time we're going to go on beat 2. So we're going to have to do a double click. And the best way to do a double click is to go right and then left. Because if you try and do 2 clicks with one hand, it's not the easiest thing in the world. So we're going to go chest, click, click, clap, click. Chest, click, click, clap.
Oh, Jimmy, don't do this to me.
Chest, click, click, clap, click. Chest, click, click, clap, click. Do you want to give that a try?
Chest, click, clip, clap, click. Chest, click, click, clap, click. Chest, click, click, clap, click. Chest, click, click, clap, click. Okay, yeah, I can do that, Jimmy.
Yeah,
so,
great stuff.
So anyway, thank you very much, Jimmy. We've got to go now. No, I'm joking. Come on. I press the buttons here, mate.
Next challenge, double clap. So we're going to go chest, click, clap, clap, click. Chest, click, clap, clap, click.
Chest, click, clap, clap, click. Chest, click, clap, clap, click. Chest,
Brilliant.
click, clap, clap, clickety click. Yep, okay.
And once you get used to doing it while you're saying it, you can then stop saying it and see if you can still do it.
I was helping the guys as much as anything, but yeah, okay. Chest, click, clap, clap, click. Chest, click, clap, clap, click. Okay.
It's looking good.
And now put it all together and it's good times, is it? Or
it's not going to turn into anything magically wonderful like that. It
Oh,
is
that's
most
good.
drum beats though. Everything I'm showing you now is preparing you for actually doing this on a drum kit in
Wow.
real life. So the idea is that you can follow these steps, and then when you actually go back to school and you get to go on a real drum kit, you will be able to play it because you'll know what to do and how to coordinate everything.
so it's almost as if
Yeah.
what you're doing is giving kids the skills that they can develop and drill now to a certain degree. And as soon as they get on a real instrument, they can. That's fantastic. So
Yeah,
I've got
exactly.
I've got
And
very.
The next step. sorry.
No, carry on.
So
Go
the
on.
next step is to do nothing on some of the beats. So you might just pretend to hit your chest, don't actually hit it. So instead of going, you just pretend to hit your chest and it doesn't make a sound. So you can go. Yeah.
Cool.
Or you can mix it up. You can do the chest on some of them and not on the others, and you get quite a good effect then. A bit like a one-drop reggae sort of beat. So.
Have you ever met Tom Morley, our super inspirator, who's an amazing drummer, percussionist?
Tom Morley. Tom Morley's fantastic. Yeah.
Because we need to get you and him on. I mean, Tom is just wonderful, and he obviously he did this with his eyes closed, of course, but he really is the man. I'm digging around
It would
at the
be
moment.
great if I could get a session with Tom with no delay on it somehow. I don't know if that's even possible, but that'd be fantastic.
Well, the theory is you and me and Leanne don't have any delay. The only delay you've got is the visual. So yeah,
okay.
So that I mean, we at the moment we're struggling to get everything as good as it probably needs to be and could be. You're
doing a great job, Nick. You're doing a fantastic job. It's not easy, and all the technical team, brilliant work. Well done.
Well, I am the technical team.
I thought that might
I'm just trying to find something here for you. Hang on a second. So
another thing we can start putting those rests on different beats. Then it's getting quite advanced this now, but you can go. Or you could even just do beats 2 and 4, the clicks as rests.
Okay.
So you can play around with putting doubles like we were doing and rests on the different beats, and you can get combinations like.
Brilliant. Jimmy, I'll tell you what, we're next week we are launching a Spacebook type thing, bit like Facebook but for Space Pete and for Rocket Kids, Space or whatever we're going to call it. Yeah. But it's the Rocket Kids Club. It's going to be an online space. Can you come in maybe once a week and do a little session like this where you have a whole hour doing it with the kids in there?
Don't see why not.
Or half an hour, or whatever works for you, but something regularly. Because what we'll do is we'll do it and then film it so that the kids can come back into the Rocket Kids Club anytime and do the Jimmy Rotherham lesson that week, you see. We'd save it. And
that's the way to do these things. So I have made a video. I'll send you a link for that. If you
I know you've done this.
Because what you can do with the video, of course, is just play a little bit, practice, pause it, practice, come back to it.
Yeah.
And the video I've done is split into lots of different levels. So you can try level 1, have a practice at it, and then when you're ready, move on to level 2, rather than trying to whiz through it all with me now. But you guys have all done a brilliant job of whizzing through it with me like that. That was really well done, everyone.
Well, so you've got stuff on you. How can people find your stuff on YouTube at the moment, Jimmy? What's the best way of searching for it?
If you search for Jimmy Rotherham, JIMMYROTHERAM, you will find either me or someone who's a surfing champion in El Salvador.
That sounds much
so
better.
Obviously, yeah, I used to try and pretend that was me for a long time, but yeah.
Brilliant.
You can also find me on Twitter. I will put a link on.
Well, your music Ed for All, is it, or something like that?
Yeah, Music Edu. So Music EDU 4.
Yeah, we'll find it. We'll find you. So Jimmy, do some tweets. # Rocket Kids Club. I'm gonna hang up on you now, but I'm gonna keep Leanne on for a moment if that's all right. What I want to do, Jimmy, is I'm gonna play the film that we made from our Art Connects festival last year that you were so supportive on. Basically, last year you came to London and we did a pub festival. You came and spoke at our event in Notting Hill under the Grenfell Tower and the school there. You have been really supportive. You came to Camp Bestival. We had a main stage spot at Camp Bestival. I don't know if you remember that moment where we were all up there and you were playing a Chic medley. And at the end of that year, Nile Rodgers I know, it's wonderful, wasn't it? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play that 2-minute film now. I'm going to hang up on you if you don't mind, so you can at least watch that on YouTube and remember what you've helped us achieve with your talent, with your art, your creativity, but most importantly, your support and solidarity. It's been fantastic. So thank you so much.
It's all about us working together, Nick.
Collaborate,
and one thing that this crisis has done has brought people together even more online. And I think when we go back to schools, it's going to be so powerful because we're going to have the best of all the worlds, and I think all this collaboration will really come to some amazing fruition in the future.
Well, you and I, we had a little chat and we filmed it. We said that, you know, Mr. Gibb, the schools minister, could be the saviour of art and creativity. He holds the keys. And I think if he's got much sense, and I believe he has, he's passionate about art and creativity. He's got tight budgets. But I think if he lets people like you and me and Action Jackson, everybody else connect with our communities and use art and culture the way that Department of Culture wants us to, we can achieve a lot. And that's what we're going to be doing. And let's just do what we can. This is our chance. Our kids are out of school. We have a responsibility to inspire and create and educate with them, and that's what the Rocket Kid Club is all about. So thank you, Jimmy Rotherham. Fist bump.
Cheers.
See you, buddy. I'm going to roll that film. I'll come back to you in a moment, Leanne. Hold tight.
It might not work, but here's the thing. The guy who invented the ship also invented the shipwreck. And either you're in or you're out. Either you want to play this game or you don't. Art doesn't work because we did something conventional and predictable, and here it is industrialized, right? Art works because we connect.
So the festival that we will be organising in 2022 is a festival of creativity in its broadest sense. So what we're looking for is events that will help to bring people together and show the value of art.
An event like this is absolutely overdue. Being from a working class families where we never have access to the arts.
I think this is amazing, and we should encourage Nick to do more of this so that we can connect friends through art. Is actually amazing.
Well, a lot of schools have taken music out of their curriculum, and I find that really important.
This book is going to change lives. There are 7 stories.
Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion. Please keep doing what you're doing, inspiring the kids. I think it's great. Not enough parents spend enough time with the kids. They leave them on the iPads and things like that. I absolutely love it. Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion.
Boys will be boys. Better let them have their toys. Girls will be girls. Cute ponytails and curls. Must put an end to this stress and strife. I think I want to live that sporting life.
I'm going to make it happen for you, Nick.
I appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to make it happen for you because what you're doing is, in the end, absolutely brilliant.
I had the idea of getting a big screen to come here and celebrate, and I did a thing called a crowdfunder. I said to lots of people, I only gave myself 24 hours, and they said, you'll never do it.
One time for the Lord.
Art and creativity is absolutely everything, you know, to secure the jobs for the future.
Niall, what does collaboration mean to you?
For me, collaboration is everything. So my whole life is a collaboration.
Niall Rogers there, amazing, inspiring man, very generous man, incredibly talented, saying there that collaboration is absolutely everything. And we're hoping to hear more from Niall Rogers over the next weeks and months. Just fantastic. I'm absolutely delighted. Well, as Sod's Law would have it, it's obviously typical that the one day that I get the most amazing person on the line who actually runs the firm that makes JD robots like that. So as Sod's Law would have it, I actually have let the battery run down, so I can't do anything super cool with JD, which is typical. But it's a good job I know somebody who has. And one thing he did say, the man who gave me this robot, he did say to me, don't let the battery run down or you're in trouble. And if you do, don't use it when you're charging it. So I'm going to try and be a good boy. So I'm going to put JD on charge because it doesn't really matter because on the line we now have, see which buttons I need to press to get this to happen. We now have, oh, that's not the one. Why hasn't that worked? Oh, there he is. And let's get him so we can hear him. Dennis is calling in from Canada, I believe, Dennis. Say hello. Let's see if we can hear you. Can we hear Dennis? Can you speak?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can. It looks like it's in real time as well. How are you doing, Dennis?
I'm outstanding. Really good. It's weather is finally picking up here in Canada. We got some sunshine. So people are self-isolating, but able to get out into their yards and enjoy the weather a little bit more, do a little bit more creative things outside. So it's pretty good. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we've also got on the line at the same time, we've got Leanne and Rowan who are up there in Leeds. You're going to say hello to Dennis, Rowan?
Hello. Hello, Dan.
How are you, Rowan?
Dennis, Rowan, Dennis, he is in charge of the company that makes these robots. Would you like to know a little bit about robots and why they're important and what you have to learn with them? Would you like to know that?
Yes.
Would you like to? So Dennis is in Canada, which is near America, and he is going to tell us all about robots. Go for it, Dennis. Give us 5-10 minutes all about importance, because his mum's here. Keep it straightforward, because I don't want an ear bleed today, and I know Leanne will never come on if it's all complicated and horrible, because they build cranes and things out of bits of wood. But they want to know about robots because they want to make sure that their boys, Samuel and Leah and Rowan, have the skills to take advantage of this. So talk to them about robots, Dennis.
Perfect. So when we teach robotics, and I've demonstrated robotics to probably about 17,000 kids from grade 1 all the way up through university. I'm old enough that I get to call university students kids. And we try to teach robotics literacy first. We don't focus on making roboticists. We focus on bringing robotics literacy to people. And we do that because we want everybody to have the ability to apply robotics and technology to whatever their passion is, right? So I'm not trying to make specifically roboticists that might clean up the environment. I'm trying to make environmentalists that understand robotics, or politicians, or artists, or doctors, or scientists. What we're going to see over the coming decade is a real change in the workforce with a move towards automation, or robotics, artificial intelligence. Those things are going to become more prevalent. And so we're going to start to see some things changing in the workforce. We're already seeing how people buy things change a little bit in stores with self-checkouts, and now obviously lots more people buying things online. But so what we try to do is get people excited about robotics, and then we give people robotics literacy. And then from that, the people that want to be roboticists can take those same skills and move up.
So really what you're saying is that just because you're interested in robots and just because you're interested in learning to code, it doesn't mean to say you have to be a robot scientist or you have to be a coder. These are useful skills. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so a great example of this, Nick, is I was at a robotics conference in New York City 5 years ago. This is a pure robotics conference. You've got assembly line robots, drones. And at this conference, I met about 20 or 25 people from the fashion industry. Now, that surprised me initially. The first couple, I thought, okay, they must just have a personal interest in robotics. But, you meet 3 or 4 people from an unexpected industry in an hour, you start to think, wait a second, there's a pattern here. And so I started to ask them, I'm like, I'd be like, you're the 4th person I've met in an hour. Why are there so many of you at this robotics conference? And what half of them told me was, if you want to be a fashion designer, 2 of the most important skills are 3D printing and robotics. The other half of the people said those were the 2 most important skills. But we don't think of something like fashion design as necessarily being a technical career. Only from this point moving forward, if you understand those technologies, the kind of designs you can make, they're more innovative, they're more creative. And, in a competitive world like fashion, you want every advantage you can get, right? So that's a great example of a career that's not traditionally a high-tech career, but where we're going to see those types of skills now becoming important. And then another good example of that would be teaching. Some teachers would be high-tech teachers, but the majority of teachers would say that teaching is not a high-tech career. You're using smart boards, you're using computers and stuff, but for the most part, it's not high-tech. But what we're going to see over the next 5 to 10 years is, as the workplace evolves, we're going to see more people needing to have high-tech skills for employment. So the schools are going to have to start putting more of those people out. We're going to need a higher percentage of our high school graduates or our secondary school graduates to have higher tech skills. Now, when this happens, what's going to happen is the headmasters and the principals of schools, when they're hiring new teachers, they're going to be looking for teachers that can teach robotics or coding or 3D printing. So it's not that those skills are, it's not that teaching is a high-tech career, but for the next 5 to 10 years, if you want to get hired as a teacher, your chances go up dramatically if you also have a layer of high-tech. So that's kind of the premise of what we try to do, is to give everybody this literacy, because we know it's going to allow them to go further and do more. And we've got some big tasks ahead of us with the world. If we're going to clean the environment and stuff, a lot of that is going to be done through technologies, cleaner technologies, smarter technologies. You know, if we're going to clean the oceans from the plastics that are in the oceans and stuff, we're probably going to do that with robots, right, that are going to go through the water. They'll be solar powered or, move or wind powered or something, but they'll be the ones that are collecting the plastics out of the oceans. We're going to solve a lot of challenges that we've created with technology. And so
tell us about
everybody gets a strong critical thinking. Sorry, go ahead.
Tell us about I'm a bit conscious of time. We've got sort of 2 or 3 minutes left, and we're going to get you back. Don't you worry. We know where you live now. We're going to have you on here again. But could you tell us a little bit about the range of products you got? Because I came along to the BET show, which is a big computer exhibition over here in the UK. I just popped down. I was in Leeds, fun enough, and I came down specially for the day, and I went back to Leeds that night to work with Parklands Primary the next day, and we had a chat. And I told you what we were doing at Steamco, and you showed me this robot which is called JD, and I said, "Cool, I'd love to have one of those." And you said, "Well, have it. I'll give it to you." And you gave me this robot. Now these are £500 each. What possessed you to give a nutcase like me one of your robots?
Well, Nick, honestly, you're out doing so much good. You're reaching so many people. You're changing the lives of kids. And if we've got the chance to do that, that's very inspiring. So you inspired me. So I wanted to empower you to do more and to help kids. And now your robot doesn't have power there. I've got one here that does have power.
Yeah, can you give us a very quick look at what JD can do? That would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, okay. So you can see the robot there. I've got the software up in the background. I'm going to activate his speech recognition, and we'll just see what he's got in him. Now, this robot's name is JD. Let's see. Oh, come on. This is supposed to be a touch screen. It's not working real well. Let's do this.
It's called Sod's Law, mate. Technology doesn't affect Sod's Law. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Oh, his lights, his eyes are flashing.
How strong you are.
Boys, be sure to check this out. Look up there in Leeds. Look at what JD is doing. This is the robot working. Wow.
Are you a bird?
He can fly. Look, he's flying.
Now he's trying to do a dance here. Give me 1 second. I'll stop him from doing a dance for the time being.
Amazing.
Because the dance is quite long. We've only got a couple of minutes left. Here's something. But here's an important thing to understand. This platform is very powerful. I'm told that NASA uses it for rapid prototyping. I haven't been able to verify that, but that's what I'm told.
Wow.
But it's so easy is that we get children as young as 8 years old programming science fiction type characteristics in their robots. And so I'm going to show you, as soon as he's done the push-ups here, I'm going to show you something that an 8-year-old programmed. JD, can you sing happy birthday?
Listen. It's sing happy birthday.
Wow. Amazing.
Isn't that awesome? So now, imagine that we can get 8-year-olds to learn that level of, like, to program that type of thing. And then I'm really quickly, we'll see how this works. I'm going to actually swing my camera to try and show my screen of my computer, because I want to show a video of another robot that has been made using the exact same hardware and software as this little guy. So when we're teaching robotic kids as young as 8 years old, they're learning this level of robotics. We'll see how this works. Hopefully it'll work out well.
Wow, that looks like a human robot, doesn't it?
Now that robot is 3D printed. That's an in-move robot. This one is being controlled with the same hardware and software as this little guy, right? So with robotics, as long as the platform is powerful enough, you can control it with pretty much anything. I'll just go for it. And this guy's on a wheelchair base as well. So, and he's got ultrasonic distance sensors, so he can navigate around the room without crashing into things. And just he's gonna pour this liquid here. So just watch the dexterity in his hand. It's pretty incredible.
It is amazing, isn't it? Just remarkable.
So look at this hand.
And that's using the same technology in the coding systems as JD. So if you could learn to code JD, you could learn to code a robot as complicated as that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So and that's the big takeaway. So when I do presentations, sorry, I got my hand in front there. When I do presentations in schools, I get the kids to work with the little robot because he's not scary. He's really fun. Everybody gets excited about working with him. And then as they move along, you know, they program the robot to wave, to talk, they record their voice, it comes out the robot, they name it and give it a verbal command and it responds. As they're doing this, I keep saying to them, look, who could have done this? Because I get one child up to volunteer, and I say to all the other children that are watching, I'm like, could everybody have done that? And everybody says, yes, yes, yes. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll say, okay, so everybody agrees that you could all program this robot. And they've taught it to track colors and recognize a student's face and greet that student by name. They've done all of these things in an hour, having never seen the robot before. And then at the end of it, they're all like, yeah, we could all program that robot toy. And then I show them the big robot. And I'm like, okay, who could program this? And mostly people think they can't. And then I tell them it's the exact same thing. If you can program this little guy, and by the way, I've taught hundreds of fourth graders, and every single one of them can do it. I've never had anybody that I've tried to teach robotics to that couldn't learn it with this platform. It's awesome. But then imagine now everybody knows they could do the little guy. Then they understand that the big guy uses the exact same technology, the same coding languages, everything is identical, and they recognize that they could do that. Imagine how that changes if you've got a school of, you know, fourth graders or fifth graders, or year 5 or year 4. I think that's how you say it in the UK.
Yeah.
If you've got a class or a school of kids that know that they could do this type of robotics, that changes their whole self-perception. It changes what they think they can go into and the things that they can do. And then they start to understand that they can take their passions and they can apply robotics and technology across whatever they're interested in. And so, you know, when you talk about the art of robotics, yes, it's an art, but it's also an amplifier for all other types of art forms, because you can take this knowledge if you have some literacy, and you can take whatever you're passionate about and you can go further.
Absolutely amazing. Dennis, you've been an absolute star today. You've been very, very generous ever since we met. I mean, it's just been fantastic, the support and help you've given us. And you say I've done some stuff, I'm just the connector. You guys make amazing technology. You were generous enough to trust me with one of those robots. You have actually generously offered one of these robots as a competition prize, which you're going to run across the whole of the country for children, teachers, parents, communities to enter, but not to win it for themselves, to have it at home and keep it dusty, but they have to promise that this robot goes into their school community through the school to share as a resource that they can all access. And I think that's the deal we've agreed, isn't it, with you, so that everybody can benefit. And if there's anybody out there that wants one of these, we're going to be able to start selling these in the next few days, actually. Dennis has said that we can add these to our store. He doesn't allow them to be sold on Amazon, as far as I understand it, and those places. He's very keen that only people who can help can do this. So what do you think? What do you think, boys? What do you think of the robot, boys?
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you? His battery's a bit too flat, and it's quite hard doing it in the screen, back to front, left to right, and all that sort of stuff. Dennis, you've been amazing. We're going to come back to you over the next few weeks as we build this Rocket Kids Club, and maybe you can help us make it international. With the technology now, it doesn't have to be a UK thing, and I think that's what's been holding me back, a car on a road and trailers. But now we're online, there's no stopping us.
The COVID, there's no question it's a terrible, terrible thing, but it's opening up some new connections, some new channels. It's causing people to rethink about things, and it's forced some changes within our company that are going to end up being positive changes, things that we wouldn't have looked at before. The same type of thing as what you're talking about, right? The world is a small place thanks to computers and the internet, and we've all got the ability to collaborate and help each other out. And I'm happy to be a part of what you're doing, because you're helping people and changing lives, and I think that's awesome.
Well, that's good to hear. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep you on the line for 10 seconds actually, because I might have a bit of good news here. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's see what is going on here. Let's see. Whoa! Boys, watch this. Boys.
There he is.
Boys, are you there? Can you see the robot?
Yeah.
Can you see the Can you see the robot, boys?
Yeah.
Right. Well, watch what's going to happen now, because he can do things. He can put his hands by his. It's a bit hard to get him in the right place. There we go. He can put his hands by his sides.
Wow.
Why don't you wave to him? Wave to the robot, boys. Wave to him. Oh, he's trying to wave back, but his power supply's in the way by the look of it. Oh dear, let's see if he can do that again. Oh, he's struggling with the wave. Do you know what he's thinking? He's actually thinking, oh my goodness, I need to scratch my head a little bit here because this is a bit tricky. He's only just woken up and he's thinking, I can't be doing all these hard things. Are you going to try and win a robot for your school? Do you think Mr. Dyson would like to have a robot in the school?
No, do you think Mr. Dyson would like one of them robots in your school?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what JD thinks? Look, he's shaking his head. He's not very happy about that. He doesn't want to replace teachers. He wants to work with them. Oh, well. Okay, then. Well, thank you very much, Dennis. Dennis, JD says goodbye. And thank you for sending him to a lovely country. And thank you for changing the world with us. Team effort.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure, Nick. Take care.
All the very best. Cheers now. Wow. What do you think of that then, boys?
It's cool, isn't it?
Did you like that? Well, I've got an amazing person I wanted to get on the line, and sadly he's not been able to come along and join us today, and that is this man here. This man is Professor Martin Rees, Lord Martin Rees, and he's the Lord of a place in England called Ludlow, where I'm from, and he is an expert on space. He is an expert on space, and he is the Queen's astronomer. He's the Astronomer Royal, and he's an amazing, amazing man. And I went to see him, and I had a little chat with him, and he made a film to be shown at my school, because my school is in a place called Ludlow in Shropshire, and he is the Lord of Ludlow. And I'd never heard of him before. Would you like to see the film of a day that we had in my school that he helped at? Would you like to see that?
Yes, please.
Here we go. You're going to get it anyway, you know that. So hold tight. Why haven't we got any audio? Let's get some audio up. Why aren't we hearing that? That's not good, is it? Did I turn the audio off? Oh dear, let's have a look. This is what happens when you make things up as you go along. You make the odd technical mistake, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Volume should be working. Oh, it is working. Okay, so let's start again. Let's start that again. Are we ready? Let's try again. In 1972, this school was built, and I was one of the first children to come here, Albert Einstein. And he said, imagination will take you anywhere.
Hello, my name is Martin Rees, and I'm now the Astronomer Royal, and in fact I have the title Lord Rees of Ludlow. So it's great to be talking to everyone at Ludlow Junior School.
We've had a fantastic STEAM day in school, very creative. The children are just buzzing with learning. It's fantastic to see. You know, it's really important to have the basics in school and learn all those skills, but applying them, that prepares you for life.
In your passport, you've got a list of all the different things that you can do today. 20 different activities.
It's been fantastic this morning actually that we've had McConnell's in to have a local engineering firm actually take part in the STEAM day this morning. We started doing some newspaper engineering. The children have taken 3 pieces of newspaper, rolled them up, make it something that's titanium strong, which is fantastic.
Microbit, absolutely loved it, seeing the coding. Great to have a specialist from Barclays in to help out. Lots of parents helping with it as well.
Aidan said this is the best computer lesson he's ever had in his life.
Co-op, that's one of the best ones anybody's going to say today, because co-op is short for cooperation. people working together. And that's what co means. Co means together. So I'd like you all to turn around and look at those people at the back of the room. I'd like a big round of applause for all the parents who've come here today. And businesses, because what STEAMCO is, it's about getting people like parents, businesses, secondary schools, universities, colleges to come and work with primary schools who are so often overlooked.
I'm from Tesco and I do the Farm to Fork project, which invites children to come into store and go into schools to talk about where their food comes from. In Ludlow Tesco we've had over 2,000 children now in the past year doing this project. It's a fantastic project and it's all free.
My dad was a governor here, he was a councillor here for many years. He also volunteers in an Oxfam bookshop. And this book, about 4 boys didn't want to be coal miners and they thought, wow, we'd like to make a rocket ourselves. And do you know what they did? They went home and they made a rocket and then another rocket and another rocket. And the final rocket they built went 6 miles high in the sky. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. High five, Martin.
I'm a mom and I've come in today. It's good, really good. I'm learning something.
I'm a parent at the school and I just think it's wonderful what they're doing. They just do such lovely things and this just adds to it, and the school's just buzzing and you just feel the energy and everyone's excited. It's great. Lots of interesting things.
This is a Green Power Goblin car and this is a kit that Year 5 and Year 6.
I would absolutely recommend it. We need to get more excitement about learning into schools, and this is a great way to do it.
My STEAMCO day was...
There you go. So that's my STEAMCO day at the school that I used to go to when I was a little boy. And I know it's hard to believe I was ever a little boy, but not to worry, not to worry. I've just asked somebody a question, but they're not answering it, but it doesn't matter. Because on the line down here is my dear old buddy, Ed Finch, and his big boy son. I forgot his name, I'm sorry, Ed. What's your name, big fella?
His name is Douglas.
Douglas. What are you doing that for? What's that suggest? Is that a teenage sign that
about 4 times. You know what listening. We have said this about 4 times.
Yeah, we don't realise that. I can't hear what you're saying, you see. I can't always hear what you're saying, that's the trouble. Have you got YouTube on as well as Skype?
I've got the sound off on the YouTube so I can see. We can
Yeah,
see
that's
us
fine.
on the telly.
Yeah, about 8 seconds later, but that's fine.
Amazing,
and well, you were here a couple of weeks ago, and I think we just had blaring feedback. No, it's better than that when you were here, wasn't it? But you couldn't hear what the other person was doing, could you?
I couldn't hear Ray at all. Yeah, so we were making that up, but I could hear you being explained.
And
I think it's all looking very smooth today, Nick. You're getting much quicker with this vision mixing.
He says, "Oh, hang on, no, I just keep doing this and I keep messing it up. Just as you tempt fate like that, Ed, it all goes belly up, doesn't it? It's a nightmare." So we're actually, I can't believe that we're actually running to time, about give or take a minute.
No.
And I thought we were going to be.
I'm very surprised.
Well, the biggest problem I've got is that I was supposed to have built a rocket and a rocket launcher. We've still got, we're still live and direct up there in Parklands Primary. Where are we? Yep, they're up there in Parklands, which is great. So they're waiting and sort of sitting there. I've sent them a box, and obviously it's a nightmare, isn't it? You get sent a box and you can't do anything with it because some bloke keeps talking down in London. But and in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we've got Homer Hickam coming on, which I just am so amped about. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Ed, tell us a little bit about you, because the people we've got listening today, this is the Rocket Kids show is really going to be, well, the Rocket Kids Club is going to be a safe place, we say safe, whatever, but a place where kids and their creative carers can be inspired by people like you and the Rocket guys and the Robot guys. Be inspired, they can create stuff and they can share it safely in a close place. So it's kind of like Facebook for families. Oh, it looks like a cup of tea's just arrived. That's quite good. Thank you very much. Whoop. I'm live on air, Sam, so try not to kick too much around.
Yeah, it's a cool idea doing that. I've got something similar just in my school. I've got children emailing me pictures of what they're doing in little videos and sharing the work because they're at home. They're doing brilliant work with their parents, but you know what? Without some sort of slightly wider audience, without what I call an authentic purpose, it's very hard for them to keep that meaningful. So giving them a stage which might be an internet stage, or might be showing it to an auntie or an uncle or something. Without that, children are going to lose the will to keep on working. But something like Rocket Kids, or something like a teacher who's always happy to celebrate, what are you doing with this? Douglas has just brought me the Ethernet cable. I don't know why.
Spin the computer around.
No, we're all right, mate. Honestly,
Honestly, Dad,
it's a good. Latency is terrible, but that's YouTube problem. So Douglas, this is my son Douglas, who is you have met briefly.
I know we have, because you were there
Very
when.
interested in space and in rocketry and in science and things, and he's a great fan of all this stuff. So it's nice to have him with us on this. He wants to turn my PC around so he can plug the internet into it. I think it's going Ethernet. I think it's going to go horribly wrong. Please sit on the chair.
It doesn't
now,
matter. This is how we learn. It doesn't
Live
matter.
in front of 8 people.
Is that what it says? Is it 8? Is it? Well, the thing was, I forgot to actually. I
Saying on
forgot.
my computer- Oh no, one of them left.
Oh, we've got 7. Well, the funny thing is, we don't need to be saying this, because when people watch it in recordings, that it doesn't matter how many people.
So I've got 2,000 down in the bottom right. Of my
Yeah, there you
screen.
go. It's a bit like your ukulele sessions. Just before you jump off the second floor window, I tell you, actually, Ed, we'll get a few retweets, and suddenly it's like 5,000 within an hour, isn't it? And it really doesn't matter.
For those, it's just an easy way for one place to keep it, isn't it? You pop it on the YouTube. I don't then need to keep it on my device. We can find it later, and you're right. Over the course of a few days, it goes up to quite a significant number.
Well, this is very much our launch program, which, if people want to join the club, they'll watch this and it will give them a taste of it. We'll edit it down, make it a bit tighter. So this Rocket Kids Club, safe place to be inspired, create and share. We're looking for 100 people to trial it. Now, you're a teacher. Your number one priority is always teaching and learning, but above that is obviously safety and safeguarding. That always comes first, because before you start learning, people have to be safe. We want to test this over 2 weeks. Would you and Douglas be up for testing it for a couple of weeks?
Some rocketry and some fun activities. Sure, I think
Yeah.
he would. Yeah, I mean, Douglas's school is sending him work to do, which he's talking through at a hell of a rate. It's extraordinary how quickly he's getting through the stuff they're asking him to do.
It's hard to believe you'd have a clever son, Ed, isn't it? It's hard to believe you'd have a clever
Extra
son.
stuff to fill it out. Oh, it's very quick now. Douglas,
I have just increased the speed 100-fold.
Good effort,
So-
Douglas. Good job. Somebody knows what they're talking about. Your dad's good with homebrew and. Is that better?
He's a lot. Your picture is a lot smoother on our PC now that you're not wireless. Now,
So should we give your son some credit for that? Shall we, Ed? Credit where credit's due.
Yeah, credit where.
Douglas is the technician in the house now. I don't even bother thinking about
In
these
the
things.
house.
He can build a computer, take it apart, put it back together again, change the components, fix it. It's that sort of being unafraid to have a go business. It'll either get him into trouble or it'll get him a long way. He's a bit similar to you in that, I think.
Amazing. I've just realised that I not only did I get a cup of tea, but I actually got half a biscuit. That's not bad, is it?
Half a biscuit.
I wonder who had the other half. Would you do that to your dad, Douglas? Would you eat half a biscuit before you gave it to him? Because
Right,
that's
he'd
what
eat
seems.
the whole biscuit and then say there were none left. That's what he'd do. He's a smart lad.
Yeah.
So you wanted to? What were we going to talk about, Nick? We were going to talk a little bit about rocketry, weren't we?
We're just rambling at the moment, which is all good. I need to thank you again for. Think about your dad, Douglas. You don't realise, teenagers don't realise what the lessons in life they learn by just hanging out with people like your dad. About a year ago, I had nothing to do at the weekend. I hadn't got much work going on. It's quite hard building this all up. And I saw your dad had a literacy conference, and I said, can I come along? And he said, yeah, sure. And you can have a little table at the back with some leaflets if you want. I thought, great, that's great, because I can tell people about Steam Co. And then he said, well, do you want 5 minutes on the stage? And I thought, yeah, give me 5. I'll have 6.5. And shush. Yeah, whatever. And then I thought, what should I do with it? And I thought, I'll tell you what, I know what I'll do. I'll write a book and I'll launch it, we'll announce it. So we did the Rocket Kids stories, which we've done 1,000 copies of. Chris Dyson had 400 copies. Chris Tolson in Bradford had 300 copies. It's just been brilliant. So thank you for that and for sharing. And I think you really are the epitome of working together to collaborate, communities, teachers, parents, everybody looking outside to how we can work together. And you run that thing called Brew Ed, which is all about, well, tell us what Brew Ed's about, really, for the parents, really, as much as anything that are listening.
Brew Ed, well, I tell you where Brew Ed comes from is the way we run education in Britain sets different people apart. It sets primary apart from secondary, and the special schools are apart from that, and the pupil referral units are apart from that. And they're all in different boxes, and they don't get to talk to each other. So we had the brilliant idea of just creating a space. It's at the weekend, so nobody has to take time away from work. It's very, very cheap. It always happens in a pub, so you feel like you're there in a social setting. We get people from all these different sectors together. We put them in a room where basically we try to enable a conversation so that people connect to different people. We have a pub quiz and a laugh as well and a couple of pints. But the main thing is getting people from diverse sectors into one room. And, you know, you always make connections. You always find out that you've got shared questions and shared solutions. It's a beautiful thing. We did the first one in Sheffield all the way back in autumn of 2017. Now they're huge. Tomorrow we've got what might be the biggest one ever, but it's happening on the internet because we can't be in a pub together. So we've got amazing speakers, and all day from 9:30 through to about 5 in the evening, we've got speaker after speaker coming on to talk about something they're passionate about. It'll be interesting. I'll be watching and joining in on the Twitter to keep the conversation going. It's a very nice thing. I'm very pleased that it's taken off in the way it did. I never believed it would. It was just a chance to meet up with some friends in the pub originally.
No, absolutely fantastic work. And I think one thing you said to me, actually, we did an event together at the British Library, and you said, look, it's all about finding that we have more in common than which divides us. What we tend to do, I think, so often is that we argue about the little bits that we have that we differ over, but we don't stand around and have a group hug about the 80% we have in common, whether it's education or politics, you know, across the board. And it's almost as if people don't want us to be in the middle, getting on. They want us to fight from the outside.
Yeah, those human brains, they're very good at noticing difference, and we have to train them to be good at noticing overlap and noticing connection. And when we start to really notice connection, that's when we find that our communities grow and our purpose grows.
Brilliant.
That's part of what you say. And you say art is what we call it, and what we do connects us. And I think that's what everything I do is all about that. It's just trying to get people together. Sometimes there are people who've been at loggerheads for years, but if you can get them to have a pint in their hand and a chat about something else, they see a more rounded person, and there's a greater chance that their words will get through then.
No, fantastic. I think one thing that's also really lovely is the fact that, you know, I don't know if it's through hanging out with me, osmosis or whatever, but you've done a bit of rocketry yourselves, Douglas. Have you made a rocket, Douglas? Is that the case? Did I hear a word?
Several.
Have you got any to hand? You can.
More than 600 hours in Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah.
Wow, check you out.
We'll show you. I brought some of the rockets upstairs to show you was this the first one?
This is the first one that got critically damaged after we threw it into a bush.
So this was a kit that we bought off the internet. People haven't done this. It's not cripplingly expensive. It's quite easy to do. You get a kit, you put it together.
This is about £2 because we nicked the pins from a cardboard box.
Yeah. Once we learned how we could make this from a kit, we realised, of course, we could make our own from found components. So you can see there's a cereal box and a bit of cone. And it works the same way. We put, we do buy our motors off the internet, but you'd shove a motor up the back of that, and it's quite an impressive thing. We then
got across the neck.
Check you out! Look at this.
In Wales last year, we took this thing. I'm going to see if you can see for scale. It's a bit meaty, and if I show you the bottom there,
we can see for scale. You're out rocketing me now, Ed. I'm not too happy about this, mate.
And we shot this one across an estuary in Wales, and it popped open, and the parachute came out. It went a very long way. You can. The second time we shot it, it all burnt out at the back, so that one died. Most recently, we had this bad boy.
We fired it in the middle of an airfield, and it went so fast that the wings essentially vaporised.
Yeah. So the fins here just got torn off by the forces that were being exerted on it. If you look on the bottom, you can see 4. Can you see 4 motors there?
When you say motor, tell everybody what you mean by motor.
Motors. It is quite a beast. You wouldn't want to be standing in front of it, but. Yeah, we did it on an empty airfield, a long way from anywhere else. Nobody was harmed.
Well, I've actually got a. Let me just. What buttons do I have to press for you again? Let me just press that. I programmed this all up, so it should be quite easy. I've actually got one of these rocket kits here.
Oh yeah.
And what I'm going to do while the next guest is on, I'm going to build a rocket, put a dynamite motor in it, and fire it out of the window here.
Are you really?
Yeah, I did have plans to build a launch pad, but the day just went, which is why we haven't got much in the way of PowerPoint. We're winging it as we go. The man who's coming on shortly will be horrified, I know, by the lack of professionalism, preparation, and other randomness. But what is particularly special for me is that while you've been there talking about your rockets, Leanne and the boys have made a rocket, and I didn't ask them to. Look at that. Look at that. They blew the nose off. And
down
that's
again.
how we learn. We learn by making mistakes. This is so special. Did you read the instructions, Leanne? Did you get stuck into that? That's wonderful.
We were following the instructions on the sheet that we got inside the box.
Because that's like week 1 activity on the Rocket Kids Club, and you've done it already. I'm only joking. It's fantastic.
That is a fantastic.
We're very eager. We're very eager to learn.
Well, I've got what I'm going to do. I was going to make one on the show, but the time. Well, here we are. Here's a rocket. Here's a rocket that I made a few days ago. What I'm going to do is fire this out the window with paper and air, but then I'm going to build a dynamite one. Would you like to see a dynamite rocket go off later as well, Leanne and everybody?
Yeah.
Would you?
I
hope it's a black parrot.
That is wonderful. I'm going to leave you in Leeds for a moment. You carry on. Ed, you haven't got your ukulele there by any chance, have you?
I've got a ukulele. I've got a number of instruments.
Oh, what have you got there? What have you got on standby there, Ed?
Music challenge every day, and you can't. We've organised the camera so it looks like an ordinary room, but if we move the camera anywhere else, it just looks like a musical junkyard, really.
Yeah.
Like, you know, yeah. There's electric guitars in here. There's mandolins. There's harmonica racks. Oh dear, Douglas is trying to show you. I wouldn't, Douglas. I think.
So Ed, in about 5 minutes, we're running a little bit late. If Homer Hickham's tuned in, I think he might be. We're running a little bit late. So what I'm going to do, Ed, is if I can leave you to sing and play, because I've actually got to go and build a launch pad for a rocket out the window. So bear with me, and I'm just going to disappear for a moment and do that. I'll be listening, but you won't be able to hear me, and I won't be able to speak to you. So I'm going to let you do your bit. Go for it.
I brought a couple of books about space and about rocketry with me. So I'll do the song, and then if you're not back, I'll read a poem.
Well, I'm very sure that I know Homer Hickam is connected on Skype. When you drop off, when Leanne drops off, he'll come on because I'm running out of channels, and then we'll take it from there. But if I can leave you for 5 or 6 minutes and do what you do as a teacher, what you usually spend 8 hours dragging out, just try and do it for 6 minutes. Go for it. Thank you, Ed.
Okay, hey, look, I get to do a takeover. I get to do the Rocket Kids takeover. I wasn't expecting that, but it's very nice. Nick asked me if I'd sing a song, and I will sing a song, but before I do that, I think I'll read you a poem. If Homer's watching this, I know that he's worked with some of these people. I thought I'd read a poem about Charlie Duke, one of the great Apollo-era astronauts. This poem's from a book called This Rock, That Rock by my friend Dom Conlon. It's a beautiful book, all poems about the moon and about looking at the moon and about imagining the moon looking back at us. This one's called This Is Going to Be a Good Day, Charlie. The rain can't fall and the sun still shines. The wind won't blow and all the signs say, this is going to be a good day, Charlie. There are 2 of us in $1 million rover bouncing over craters the whole world over, and this is going to be a good day, Charlie. There is no road, there are no towns, there is no end, nothing's out of bounds. This is going to be a good day, Charlie. We're going to explore and see new things. We're going to jump high and act like kings, 'cause this is going to be a good day, Charlie. This is going to be a good day, Charlie. She packed my bag last night, pre-flight. 0 hour 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. I miss the earth so much, I miss my wife. It's so lonely out in space. On such a timeless flight as this. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round to find I'm not the man I think I am at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man. rocket man, burning out his fuse up here alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time to touchdown. Brings me round to find I'm not the man I think I am at home. Oh, no, no, I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse up here alone. Oh, rocket man. Hey, I don't know if I've still got a minute to read another poem. Maybe I have. The thing about Homer Hickham's work, I don't know if you're watching Homer, and if you are, such a pleasure to meet you. But the thing about his work is it does talk about the science, and the science is really important in that book, Rocket Boys, turned into the film October Skies. But it also ignites that wonder that time in early space travel really did. There was that time when it didn't just feel like science, it felt about connecting us to the stars. And there's a poem I wanted to read you. It's a really short one. It's from this book, This Rock, That Rock by Tom Conlon. It's about someone looking up and someone looking down from one moon. They look across at the distant Earth, tiny and marbled like a glass blower's egg, and wonder how 7 billion people could emerge from that. I look back, squint-eyed through the ring of my finger and thumb, and think about how 2 astronauts pecking in the dust can make a whole world look up. That's cool. It's called One from One Moon. This book is a beautiful book. If you're going to buy one book, buy this one. It's by Tom Conlon, but with art throughout by an illustrator called Viv Schwartz. Both of them people who are heavily invested in art. He's a poet, she's an illustrator and an artist, but also both fascinated by science. And by the way, stories about science connect us. Look at this picture on the front cover. If you look, there's the moon, there's the face looking up at the moon. But if I take it right close to the camera, I wonder if you can see what that picture of the moon is. I'm not sure it's focusing nicely. Can you see how Viv Schwartz has made that picture of the moon? Can you tell? That's the print of her fingers. That's the print of her hand. Her moon is a hand print. And I really like that about this book. It's really about the science, but also about the people. Another book I've got on my side here, because I think I'm being given as much time as I want to hang myself. Here's Footprints on the Moon. It's by Mark Haddon. You might know Mark Haddon for his book, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night. It's illustrated by Christian Birmingham, who's one of our great illustrators. This story here, this is about, I think Mark as a boy. It seems to be about a child, about a little boy who had the solar system on his wall. And late at night, he'd lie in bed with Rabbit and they'd watch the planets spinning around the sun. A child who's fascinated by space and looking up and who's living at that time. It made him dizzy to think he was looking up at another world, 200,000 miles away. He dreams of going there. He imagines it. Here's the moment. He borrowed library books to hear about how astronauts had orbited the Earth and walked in space and how they'd flown around the moon itself. And every night he hoped and hoped that one day they would find their way to land and walk across the tiny world where he had dreamed of walking. And eventually, one cloudless night, they did. Oh, I'll get in the phone there. I don't know if I'm still connected. He couldn't sleep. Midnight had come and gone, but he was wide awake.
Ed, you're connected. Don't worry. Keep talking. I'm here.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we're having all sorts of fun here. I can see an amazing guy who's just been connected over there. He doesn't know well, he does actually, because he just smiled, which is lovely. But we're going to keep him up our sleeve for just a moment. Give me a thumbs up if you're cool hanging out over there. You all cool?
I'm all right. Well,
I wasn't talking to you actually.
I can carry on talking for as long as it takes.
Because he can't hear me, but I can see him. Oh, he can hear me. That's good. He can hear me, but I can't hear him. I don't even know how this works myself. So let me press this button here, look, because that means I'm up there with you, Ed. You see that? This is really cool. Can you see that? Always a bit of a delay on YouTube, isn't there? But it's a different
Yes,
angle.
You're not there yet. I'll give you a thumbs up when you appear. In a moment now.
It's like 20 seconds.
I think it's really long.
Well, the irony is that this video's got to go to San Francisco, I think, and then come back to London, and then go down to you in Oxford, and then go to over America. You got your books out again, have
We
you?
have an issue with latency in this hookup. That's our thing.
Ed,
isn't
I've
it?
just, can I just show you where I'm at first, Ed? Can you just hold on? Put your books away for a minute. I know you've got lots of space books. You're dying to show this our next guest. Just calm down. Put your books away. I know what you like. You
I can
teachers.
see you on the screen. You just appeared.
You
That's
teachers
nice.
are rascals,
Hello.
aren't you? So I'm going to press that button because I'm back at Cape Canaveral now. This is so exciting. And if I actually cut now, if I get rid of myself with that button and then press, let me have a look, this button here, check this out. So that is my windowsill. That is my windowsill. And I've just put a rocket launcher on the windowsill. And I'll be honest, I wanted to put a little platform out, but you know, it's like when the day kind of runs away with you and you just don't have time to do these things. So what I'm going to do is if you could just maybe talk about your space book for 2 minutes, I'm going to put 2 bigger screws in that and hold that in place. And then and then I'll sort of come back somehow. Is that all right? Does that sound like a bit of a plan? And can we have a thumbs up for guest number 2? Guest number 2, can you give us a thumbs up if you're cool, hanging around for a couple of minutes? Guest number 2 over there. That's you cool? You all cool? Yeah, he's cool. He's so cool. This is the crazy zany English people. He's thinking, my goodness, what have I let myself in for? In fact, you know what, Ed? I'm just gonna. You said this was an Ed takeover. Let's just do this. Just do this properly. I'm gonna press. Let me think. I'm gonna press that button there. What happens if I do that? Not much. Oh dear, that's not good. About that one. Oh, this is now not behaving at all, this mixer. So let me just go to my iPad and see if this does it better. We had no, it's really not working. Is it not to? So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to have to do this manually. If you have this mixer on too long, it sort of starts crashing. So I want to get away from that. We'll keep that up actually. Number 7 wants to be picture in pitch number 2. So if I press that, he should appear over there, and.
I can see some chroma key artifacts. So
Can you see
there.
anything? It's really gone rather bizarre now. Okay.
Great chroma key artifact going on your back wall.
Oh, the leaves of the
What
same
can you see?
colour
Oh,
as
you can
your
just see my
leaves.
wall, can you? This is really melted down now. Hold on a second. Oh no, we're getting some of that. That feels like it's doing the right thing. Okay, so if I press that, it doesn't. Oh, I'll tell you what it is, because that's actually the wrong. It's because it's the wrong camera, isn't it? Here we go. So what if I press that? And that and that. No, okay. 7.
The mouse.
I want to.
Oh, that's your mouse.
So I can see that. This is. I wonder if I should just. If I turn it off and start it again, that might just shut the stream down. That's not a good thing, is it? See, that works.
Price.
Hang on a second.
Hey, we know something happened.
Oh, hang on.
Hey.
That's encouraging, isn't it?
Oh no.
I can see. Oh, there's Homer Hickam. We've got Homer Hickam. Right, we can see Homer Hickam. So, Homer Hickam, hello.
Hello, how are you?
You can hear us, can't you? This is amazing. I'm so sorry. This is like random Englishness. And I'm going to. Have you got YouTube on as well, Homer, by any chance?
I do. You seem to be in 2 places at the same time.
Yeah,
Pretty
story of my life. So I've killed you on the camcorder there. Thank you so much for coming here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect now to this chap here on number 2. Number 6. Put 6 into 2. What happened to your end, Ed? Did you see?
We suddenly saw Homer on the screen in real life.
Oh, I thought you meant you. I thought you'd seen yourself.
Homer, it's good to see you, sir.
There you go.
Welcome to my bedroom in Oxford.
Well, you're going to be really excited now because you can actually see Homer Hickam is actually on a screen with you. And when I press that button there, I'm not on it for some reason. Oh my goodness, not to worry. And now all the lights are. There's a real bug going on here. This is really not very good. All the lights have gone where they shouldn't have gone. Okay, so settling down. Homer Hickam's in the middle of a screen. Ed, you're in the bottom right-hand corner. And I am nowhere to be seen because I'm going to go and screw that thing down. Would you talk to each other? Ed, tell Homer Hickam all about your book and don't bore him too much because he's, just can you do a good job to represent English people to Homer Hickam, please, while I go and screw my launcher into the windowsill a bit better. He's all yours. Go for it.
I'll go make some tea.
Okay. Well, my son says he's going to go and make some tea to
increase the Englishness.
To make it as English as possible. Homer, what an honour to meet you, sir. It was Nick's fascination with rocketry and then your book that turned me and my son on to rocketry. And we've built some some big old things now, but I'm just trying to imagine the size of those rockets that you were building when you were a kid yourself, and you were building them out of steel. Is that right?
It was Nick's fascination with rocketry, and then your book that turned me and my son onto rocketry.
I've got a bit of delay on my.
Homer, are you listening on the YouTube, Homer, or are you listening on Skype?
I'm just listening on Skype myself, but I'm
No, you're
hearing some
right.
feedback which suggests I'm hearing somebody else.
We did build them out of steel
Okay,
and aluminum and anything that we could find around the coal mine. I think we're on kind of a delay, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to work.
Okay, Homer, if you stop, you're listening to us on YouTube when you should be listening on Skype, because that will mean the audio is in real time, but just watch us on YouTube, yeah? So listen on Skype and watch us on YouTube, and that should get rid of the time delay.
That we could find around the coal mine. I think we're on kind of a delay, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to work.
Okay, Homer, if you stop, you're listening to us on YouTube. You should be listening on Skype, because that will mean the audio is in real time, but just watch us on YouTube, yeah?
All right, I'm going to turn down. All right. I'm going to watch you on YouTube.
That's it. Now I can hear you and see your mouth moving at the same time. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I hear you.
So I think we're all in real time now. Now this is where Ed was thinking he hasn't cracked it. Well, I have cracked it. It does work. So you can now talk to each other, hopefully.
Okay. Well, great to be here with you, Nick, and your guests. And I love seeing the rockets that are being built, and I'm very proud of everything that's going on there.
Nothing without you, Homer. Ed, I'm going to go and screw my launcher into the windowsill. Could you talk to Homer about your book and show him some of your rockets? He's seen 1 billion rockets before, right? So don't expect him to be too impressed.
Let me see. I listened to your reading on your book already. It was great, but I'm interested in some more. So let's hear it.
Why don't I read another poem from Dom's book? So my friend Dom Conlon wrote this, and he is going to be astonished and pleased to know that I've been reading some of the poems out from it. And I think, your book, Homer, is as much about the inspiration and the connections that you made through your science and through your stuff. I mean, that's what makes it beautiful, isn't it? And that's why it got such a big audience. It's because it's actually about growing up, and it's actually about your relationship with your father. And somehow, when we look at the moon, it really is a focus for all those feelings, isn't it? And those bits of learning we need to do.
Yeah, I think so. The reason that that Rocket Boys, the story works, I think, is because I wrote it as if I was that 14 through 17-year-old boy. And so I think young people especially, they get that. I had to actually peel all the layers off of my life to get back to that boy. I like to say I got $1 million worth of psychotherapy that I didn't know I needed when I wrote Rocket Boys. But I think it's why it really works with young people. And also not only the science of building the rockets, but also the family dynamics, the struggle I had with my father about him respecting what I did, the support from my mother and the people in the town. All these things, even though it happened 50 some years ago, still reverberate, I think, with modern youth. They still have the same family dynamics sometimes to work through. So I think that's why Rocket Boys work, and love seeing you and your son there working together. That just warms my heart to see that.
Oh, it's something I love. I thought that my son is mostly excited by the computer and by that kind of technology. Oh, it is true. And he's been building spacecraft and rockets in a program called Kerbal Space Program.
I've logged 600 hours on it. I really need help.
But to actually go out into a field and press the button and the thing goes and it goes up ever so high and the little parachute pops out and drifts down. That's something that is really very, very, very special, isn't it? Well,
it is. I think you learn a lot just putting together a kit. you learn that if you don't put it together exactly right, it's not going to work. That's the interesting thing about rockets. They have to be put together exactly right, or you're going to have a problem on the launch pad or somewhere as it tries to get into the sky. So young people learn pretty quickly a little bit of discipline on how to put these things together. And that's a lesson right there, just besides the rocket science that's involved. Also, I love the fact that young people often, they bring their parents into building their rockets. And so it becomes a parent-child type of cooperation and learning about each other that they might not otherwise learn. And they always have the payoff of, as you say, pushing that button, and what you have created together is either going to work or it doesn't. And actually, it almost doesn't matter. If it doesn't work, then you realize, oh, well, we've got to do better next time. Or if it does, then you have that wonderful moment with your father, your mother, your friends when it does.
Can I just chip in a minute, guys, actually? Can I chip in just for 2 seconds? Because
just for 2 seconds.
Yeah, just for 2 seconds. Yeah, it's my flipping show, mate. What you like? I'm only joking. I'm over here now. It's all gone completely random. I'm going to wish I put myself over there. So basically, the good news is that 2 big screws are now holding the launcher to the windowsill. I need to do a bit of painting there. So the launcher's not going anywhere. But what I do now need to do is to obviously build the rocket. So all homes talk about building rockets. I've got a kit here. So as you guys carry on talking, as you are so well, and totally bailing me out, I have got a little rocket kit here, which everybody knows, yesterday's rocket kits. And I am going to build a rocket while you guys talk. Are you good for 10 minutes, Homer?
Oh, sure.
You're good, yeah? So you're in the US at the moment. This is just incredible. You're in the US and Ed's in Oxford. You came to England, Homer, didn't you? Did you ever go to Oxford?
I don't know. I never went to Oxford. I wish I had. Yes, I've been to the UK many times. I love London, one of my favorite cities. Went up to Greenwich to the Naval Museum there, and been all down through Cornwall. In that area, so yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful country, and the roots of my family come out of the UK.
Is it Wales? Welsh Valleys?
The Hickhams were chased out of England to Ireland, and then chased out of Ireland to North America. So that's how we got here.
You bad boys, what you like? Carry on, Ed. I'm going to switch.
So your father was a mine engineer. Was that? I mean. Had mining been in the family, or had he done that as a college thing?
No, my great grandfather, my grandfather, and my father, and all my uncles were coal miners. My dad was one of the best mining engineers in the world, but he didn't go to college for it. He learned in the mine. He was taught by a wonderful man by the name of Captain Laird, who was a World War I hero, and went to Stanford University and taught my father mining engineering. And then my father from there, just through doing, learned how to be a mining engineer. That's what he wanted me to be, was a mining engineer. And I guess I wouldn't have minded that, but I really wanted to get into the space business. So that's how that happened.
So the great draw for the space business for you was, I mean, the time that's described in the book is the time when Sputnik goes up and those very first few bits of human-made metal start spinning around. And
I mean, it was an amazing time. This is the UK version of Rocket Boys. I love the cover. I never really strapped a rocket to my back, but not a bad idea.
I'll tell you what, Homer, we've used that lovely image.
Isn't it?
We've used that lovely image off the front.
It's a false impression of the book, I think.
If we've used the image off the front quite a lot, so if ever your publishers come after us, can you give us a get out of jail card for that, please?
Don't worry about it. I'll take care of them. You don't have anything to worry about. But it was a special time, 1957. You got to realize that nothing had ever been in orbit before put up by people. And so all of a sudden there was this hunk of steel it's actually aluminum in orbit that the Russians had put up. They were our big enemy, so it was kind of scary for a lot of people that they had this capability. But for me and for a lot of the young people at that time, we'd read a lot of science fiction, and we never expected to live during the time when there were man-made satellites in orbit, and definitely not people in orbit. And so this was just the most amazing time for us, and we wanted to be part of that somehow. And that's why we started building rockets. I have a mock-up here. I don't know if you can see it clearly or not, but this is a mock-up of the first rocket that we built in Coalwood. We were coal miners' kids, and we named it after a bird that couldn't fly, the auk. We had a sense of humor about it. Pretty crude, homemade wooden nozzle, and at the bottom we used a washer that we soldered to the bottom, and little metal fins on a piece of aluminum. And amazingly enough, using black powder when we started out, we were able to actually make these things fly. And of course, eventually we built huge rockets. They were 6 to 8 feet tall. They used a propellant, a very advanced propellant that we called Zincoshine, had alcohol in it and zinc dust, sulfur. Do not try this at home, kids. But that's why we were able to get such amazing altitudes. It was an amazing adventure for 3 years, building these rockets and ultimately going to the National Science Fair and bringing back a gold medal. So that was pretty cool.
It's interesting, Homer, because the role your mother played in this of encouraging you is well documented. Your father was a little bit reticent initially, but then was there the last day and pressed the button for the launch. What role did your community play in supporting you and encouraging this?
Well, Coalwood, where I grew up that's in southern West Virginia. It is a very mountainous area. It's very isolated, but the town of Coalwood was filled with immigrants from all over. We had, of course, we had British people. We had Welsh in there. The Welsh carpenters had come in, Italian stonemasons. People from the South came in, African Americans came in. Ultimately, no matter what they came in for to do, whether it was to build our houses or all the mine tipples and so on, they ultimately ended up staying and becoming coal miners. And so we were kind of a really interesting immigrant community, but at the same time kind of insular. We didn't have much influence on the outside. But when Sputnik happened, it actually flew over Coalwood, and we all saw it. And again, we had we boys, the Rocket Boys, wanted to be part of that. And the town itself realized that the coal was probably going to play out eventually, and they wanted to. The people there wanted to encourage these boys to see what they could do. And so they all started coming around and helping us. The machinists, we could design these rockets, very sophisticated rockets. We taught ourselves calculus and all the math that we needed, and found books. Our teachers, Miss Riley, found us a book that gave us how to design these things. We could design them, but we couldn't build them because it required big machines and also very sophisticated knowledge. And so the machinists jumped in and started helping us actually build these rockets at night on their own time when my dad wasn't looking. He was the mine superintendent. And that's why we were able to build these things. So a lot, I hear a lot from young people that say, "Oh, Homer, give me the plans. I want to build a rocket just like yours." Well, it's just not that easy. These were very sophisticated rockets. They were very, potentially very dangerous rockets. So there's no use to try to redo what we did. The best thing to do is to get a kit, and you can learn a lot about that. Maybe join a rocket club and and meet the interesting people who love to build rockets.
It's funny,
and
actually.
then someday maybe work for in the space business. You know, it's wide open right now. It's a very exciting time to be in the space business.
It's funny, actually, because I actually managed to get a copy of that book that you're talking about, the Von Braun book, from eBay actually last year. Big red book. That's quite.
Yeah, it is a big red book. It's pretty expensive these days.
I got it for like $10 actually.
I'm proud that you were able to find it.
Yeah, so that's the book you haven't got, Ed Finch. No.
I don't have that one.
By the way, today is, I think you've mentioned it before, today is the 30th anniversary of the launch of the Hubble Space Telescope, which is pretty cool. I was involved with it after it was launched because it was turned out to be flawed, and I had nothing to do with that part.
Yeah.
But we had to then go up and fix it. So I was working in a big tank of water called the Neutral Buoyancy Simulator here in Huntsville, Alabama, and I was this is a picture of me in the suit, the EMU suit, going into the water to, we had a mock-up of the Hubble Space Telescope underwater to go in and try to figure out how to fix it. And so, I had a lot of fun working for NASA, obviously. And here's a picture of a couple of the divers in suits with a scuba diver. That's me, the scuba diver, with it, going in and trying to figure out how to fix it, which we were able to do. So working in the space business can be a lot of fun. And I mean, it just simply is a lot of fun. And you have to prepare yourself to do it. Obviously, you have to go to great schools like in Oxford and Virginia Tech, like I went to, and the MIT and Stanford and all these great schools. It almost doesn't matter where you go. You just go get that degree and then get into the space business and just have a great, interesting life.
What are your thoughts about
my nephew right now at university who's pursuing that at Bristol University? He's very dedicated that he wants to go into space business, and he's in his teens now. He's 19. What do you imagine him doing in the space industry? Where's it going to go in the next, say, 10 years, 20 years? Do you imagine us returning to the moon? Do you think that we will go beyond that? Do you think we'll send humans to Mars, or is that just a story? What do you think?
Well, I think we're definitely going back to the moon. I don't think there's any question about that. It's what are we going to do on the moon? So what I think that young people these days, I mean, I wish that I was young starting all over again, because I think probably the most exciting time for the movement into space is about to occur for a lot of different reasons. Just a lot of things are starting to come together. And what we'll see on the moon, I believe, is that, well, it'll be like where I grew up in Colwood. We're going to see communities on the moon. People from all over the world are going to be going there to extract the resources from the moon, and there are a lot of them. And I really think that that's going to be a great challenge to learn how to do that. And I believe that for probably the next 50 years at least, we're going to go to the moon and learn how to live there. And we're going to be able to look up at the moon sometime and actually see lights there from our little towns, our little mining towns, and our little science towns, and so on. They're going to be up there, and that's going to be so exciting. Beyond that, yes, we'll probably, well, we're already on Mars. We've got robots roaming all over Mars. But the outer solar system, I think, is a little bit more interesting, the asteroid belt, and moons like Titan and Europa and so on. We're going to go out there and investigate them. And ultimately, maybe the young people today won't see this, but their children or their children's children will ultimately see us take off for the stars. So that's going to be, what's coming ahead is just going to be so exciting. And, I just wish I could keep reinventing myself so that I could go along.
Do you imagine that great development will be led by multinational agencies or national agencies, or do you see it being private enterprise that makes that big leap? So if we talk about mining the moon for resources, do you think that will be someone who's driven by an industrial challenge, or do you think that that will be countries looking in the same way that we did for the space race, looking to glorify themselves but also show their prowess?
I think it's going to be both, a combination. In a way, the moon is going to be treated a bit like Antarctica. We'll have countries will build stations there, but they'll be used for international use. Everybody can use them. Those are primarily for science purposes, and a lot of that's going to be going on at first. So we're going to probably see the moon develop like Antarctica, not really developed, but used as a laboratory for studying science. But as we go along, unlike Antarctica, which is covered by miles of ice, the moon is right there, ready to look to see what's there and pick up a rock. So we know that there's a lot of minerals that can be used on Earth, like titanium and thorium and an isotope called helium-3, which might be a great fuel for fusion reaction. Ultimately, governments are not particularly good about mining, but private companies are, and I think they'll get involved, but they will be probably under the auspices of national and international co-ops. So it's just going to be a very exciting time to see how it all develops. Nobody could predict how North America was going to develop. So it was kind of a rough time. It's just going to be exciting to see it's just going to be amazing. It's almost impossible to predict how the moon is going to be developed, but it will be, and it will be good for the good of the planet, I think. A lot of industries will be moved off planet to the moon that might be polluting, and the resources there will come back. It's kind of our 8th continent. It got carved off the Earth millennia ago, and so there it is, and it's just a great place to go to learn, and because we'll develop the moon, we'll learn how to keep going out.
So there's that big job, isn't there, of learning how to live off planet, that we can do almost toddler steps on the moon before we think about having to move further out into the solar system and beyond. So it'll be like the nursery of interplanetary humans, won't it?
Yeah, I didn't say this, and I forget who did, but some wag said that obviously God wants us to be a interstellar species because He gave us the moon, or she did, and so it's true. If we didn't have the moon so readily available that we can go back and forth between it, just a couple of days between us and the moon. The next planets out, Venus, of course, is too hot, and we really can't go there. But Mars is a long way out. So we can practice, we can learn, and we can use the moon, and that's going to allow us to keep going out. And I hope that we will.
When you look back, Homer, as a recent retiree, when you look back and think that this whole journey into space was nothing, when you were born back in when you were a toddler, the idea of space travel was nothing but science fiction. It was way beyond that. Within your lifetime, you saw the birth of rocketry, and then you got involved in that, and you made a career in it, and you've seen that whole story just within your lifetime. It surely has to be looked at as one of the most epic stories for humankind. It's more than the pyramids, isn't it? And that's within quite a short space of time, from zero to space travel. An extraordinary story. How do you feel about that?
Well, it really is. And, I was born in 1943. World War II was still going on. And so that's going back quite a way. And yes, when I grew up, we knew that during World War II, some liquid rockets were built, the Wernher von Braun and all that. Of course, in England, you know that very well since they fell on your heads. But didn't think that they could ever be used to actually carry people into space or anything like that. But so we read science fiction, Heinlein and Isaac Asimov and so on, and it was fun to imagine what it would be like to go out and live in space and have spacesuit, will travel, and that kind of thing. But it was just strictly fiction. And then I don't know, it just seemed like, again, like today, a lot of things came together, and this great competition that was going on between the Soviet Union and the United States and her allies caused one country try to get ahead of the other, and so the Russians launched the satellite, and then we launched the satellite, and then a bunch of satellites got launched, and all of a sudden it was like, well, look, we can do this, and we can even put people in space. For those of us who just grew up on science fiction, it really boggled our minds. And I have to tell you, even today, I sometimes have to pinch myself to realize that we are able to go into space. Young people today just take it as a normal, natural thing, but for those of us who grew up before it all happened, it's pretty amazing. And when I saw the other day, SpaceX took a rocket, as they have done any number of times now, and the booster actually came back and landed on a motorized raft in the Atlantic Ocean. That still astonishes me that can be done. And the young people of today are they're doing some amazing things, and a lot of forces are starting to come together that are going to carry all of us, not just the United States and not just China and not just Russia. All of us are going to be moving out into space, or we will know somebody who has. Pretty soon, knowing an astronaut's not going to be a big deal. We'll all know astronauts.
Yeah. Well, when I was a child, I was growing up with a program called Thunderbirds. I don't know if you ever had that over in the States.
Oh, yeah.
It's did you have that? These huge machines that, and they're all operated on wires. If people are watching this and they don't know the program, it's actually little puppets that are maybe so high, but with really detailed model making. It was a beautiful program. When you watch that SpaceX machine and the booster comes away and it kind of reverses gently, really slowly, doesn't it? It seems to come down incredibly slowly. It lands perfectly on that barge. There's a part of my head, I'm only 48 years old, so I'm not quite as old as you, but I'm looking at it and it looks like that Thunderbirds program. It just doesn't look like it could possibly be real, and yet that's happening, and that's happening in my lifetime. I think that's extraordinary.
Well, I think it is. The company SpaceX, led by a fellow by the name of Elon Musk, is a very engineering-oriented company. They think about what could be done, and then because they are so technically oriented, they just sit down and figure out how to do it. And then they test and they fail, and they test and they fail, and then they test and it works a little bit, and then they go back and test, and they keep going and they keep going until finally it works. This is one of the advantages of private companies. That's using private money. I don't think NASA would have ever built a rocket like that, because we use government money, and so you have to be very careful with it, taxpayer money. You can't do a lot of failures where private companies can. So there are advantages to both. The government side, you have a lot of money, obviously, to work with, big facilities and so on. On the private side, you have the willingness to use your own money and fail and until you succeed. So it's a good combination that's going on right now, and it's going to be very exciting. At the end of May, we're going to have the first American astronauts flying on an American rocket up to the International Space Station, and that's the first time that's happened in about 10 years. So this is a very exciting time for NASA, for SpaceX, for Blue Origin's another company. Companies all over the world right now are getting into the space business, making some money, and getting all of us involved.
Guys, can I just update you on status here? We're minutes away. You'll be glad to know. It's lovely listening to you.
Looking good. I can see it there on the windowsill.
Can you see it on the windowsill there?
Cabling on.
Let's get the windowsill back to you. Can you see the windowsill? You can't now, can you?
I couldn't
I
touch
know
that. Now I'm looking at you with your green screen behind you, but I was looking at the window.
The control panel is flipped out. None of the buttons are doing the right thing. I think we've got a software crash. Good job we're not heading to space on this new system, but hey, it's all good, and this is how we learn. So just a quick update for you. There we go, whatever. So that's a rocket I made yesterday out of a loo roll holder. We call them bog rolls here, Homer. It's a bog roll holder. A bog is a toilet, and probably still is in the Welsh Valleys. A toilet roll holder, because yesterday was World Loo Roll Day. We announced that. We thought, why not? So that was that. Here's a paper rocket that we make with the system. I know you know the Air Rocket guys, Keith over there in California. I think you know those guys. And this is one of their launchers. So in the next 2 minutes, we're coming up to 6:30. I don't think half an hour's bad, given what we're achieving today. I am going to go to the windowsill and fire the paper one first. And then we're going to fire the dynamite one live on YouTube, live on Twitter, live on Facebook. I've got a son here who needs some eye protection because he's actually going to be right next to the blast plate. And he's going to film that.
I'm going to give you my mother's advice.
Go on.
Don't blow yourself up, okay?
Now you tell me, Homer. I've known you 3 years and you tell me that 3 years down the line. Okay. So you guys just talk for about a minute. I'll take the launcher over there and then we'll do the window rocket. So bear with me a second.
I'm doing some highly technical business because my battery on my telephone is just about to run out. I'm just plugging in.
Well, actually, Ed, can you do me a favour? Can I drop you off? I'll tell you why. Because I bumped into a neighbour just down the road, and it was really lovely to connect with her actually, because I was told them what we're up to, and it's a mum and 2 girls, and they got really excited, Nina. And they're going to have one of our kits as well, and they're going to do some coding. So would you mind if I got them on for the launch? Because they're going to film it from their garden, like 4 doors down. Is that all right? You can watch it live on YouTube.
I will watch live. I will say thank you for having me on, and I'll say thanks for a great chat, Homer. It's brilliant to meet you, and good strength to you. Meet you stay home.
So can you bear with me a second, Homer? I'm just going to see if I can get this family on the line now. Do you know, I'm tempted to just reset this. What would you do, Homer? If I've got a Vision mixer here, and it's kind of tripped out a little bit. Do you reset and just hope for the best, hoping that it doesn't tell the server that there's no signal? Do you think that would stop the stream? What would you do? Should we have an engineer? We're in space. It's a life or death decision. Do we reboot the computer or just live with one that's buggy?
Oh, absolutely reboot.
Do we? Okay.
Rebooting never hurts.
Okay.
Sometimes that's all you can do.
We are going to go. Well, did your mum tell you that as well? Did she? Okay, you are going to lose me now. We're going to lose everything for possibly 10:30. So